Good afternoon and welcome. John Conley here, high atop Bloomington Ice Garden's main sheet here in prestigious West Bloomington. We have a great game for you today. Disappointed with a regulation tie and an overtime loss. Cloquet Esco Carleton Lumberjacks will face St. Thomas Academy. The Cadets are a little shorthanded as a couple players have the Prep Bowl Championship coming up in, I don't know, a couple hours, I think, 5 o'clock. Want to welcome somebody into the booth, ladies and gentlemen.
One of the greatest American hockey players of all time. He played for the Cloquet Lumberjacks before leaving for a major junior career and wound up being the 35th pick in the NHL draft. His long NHL career includes stops in Dallas and New Jersey, both where he won the Stanley Cup. Today he is the Boston Bruins Director of Player Personnel. He also has been captain of the U.S. Olympic team in 2010, father of Mason and Landon on today's Cloquet Lumberjack team. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jamie Langenbrunner.
All right. Jamie, welcome.
Hey, John, glad to be here.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have
some. I had to chuckle at that.
We're going to have some fun today. Hey, we do it right here. We want to pay our dues and pay respect, so I really appreciate you coming and being a part of today's broadcast.
I appreciate the tribute. Hopefully my kids can see it because they don't believe I played anymore. They kind of laugh when they see the games now. So there's no way you played like that, Dad. So
there was this thing recently I saw that came across my news feed. I guess Larry Fitzgerald, local Minnesotan, was playing for the Phoenix Cardinals, and he was all hacked off, and they asked him after the game, I guess he spiked the ball, and they said, you never spike when you score a touchdown. He said, I'm just so hacked off. My son wanted to go to the mall, and he wouldn't come to the game, and he really took offense to the fact that his son was old enough to see him play. The kid had no interest in watching his dad play, so.
Yeah, they have their own lives, and, I think, they appreciate the game, but they also, I think, put it in its right place for the most part and enjoy being around it and have some fun with it. But, guys for me, like the pros that I watch for celebrities, for them, they're just Uncle Zach and Uncle Joe and stuff. So it's just the way it works.
Well, we're going to get to a little bit more about today's contest, but before we do, I had a chance to catch up with Coach Shea of Cloquet. Here's some thoughts from Coach Shea of Cloquet before the weekend.
Just moments before the puck drop, I'm here with Shea Walters. Shea, we've talked a little bit in the lead up to the tournament. This is your first time as the head coach of a high school team. How about you? Do you have some butterflies?
Absolutely. Been kind of preparing for this kind of throughout the off season, and now it's finally here.
So you were an assistant in the program last year. You're familiar with the kids. You also talked about how you had some preseason jamboree, and maybe that changed your opinion on what you had and how you want to start out. Where do you stand in that process of settling things in for these first games?
The talent level is still there, but we have good enough players where we can kind of mix and match and kind of find what gels. Obviously, that's what the jamborees are for, and we're early on in the season, so looking forward to finding those right combinations.
So you've got some returning players with a little bit of star power. We've got 2 games this weekend. It's a several-month-long season. But for people watching at home, what are some of the things that they should be looking for from this Cloquet Lumberjacks team?
A lot of speed coming through the neutral zone. We want to try to develop opportunities off the rush. That's going to be kind of our main focus. Puck possession once we get in the zone, and try to not spend that much time in our own zone.
Awesome. Well, good luck this weekend. Thanks, Shea.
Thank you.
So, Jamie, in the early game yesterday, Cloquet played Lakeville North. It was a type of game you could see at the state tournament at the end of the year, a regulation tie with Lakeville North moving on with an overtime winner from Schneider. What were your thoughts from, not just watching the game as a hockey familiar person, but also as a parent of a couple players on the Lumberjack team?
Well, I think it's always tough watching your own kids sometimes. I got to put the dad hat on sometimes instead of the scout hat and don't overanalyze them. But, I think it was a first game for both teams. I think to a certain degree, both teams competed very hard, but some sloppy play and some missed opportunities, I think, on both teams. But back and forth, good opportunity for some goals and a good opening game, I think both teams will take to move forward from.
I think all 4 teams can be comfortable and take away some positives from the games. Minnetonka clearly had the upper hand against St. Thomas right after the fact. Shots on goal in the first period were around 16-1. I think it was 44-10 for the game. But the Cadets weren't completely hopeless. They had a good second period, and they managed to generate some scoring chances. We know they're missing some players, and I think we're going to see a real good matchup today, pretty even matchup. St. Thomas is another team that's the type of team that could make the state tournament at the end of the year.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a team that's going to just continue to get better. Obviously a coaching staff that's been there for a while, and a group that has some good leaders. Obviously Christy up top. Is probably their most firepower is right there, and then they go down from there a little bit, and some good depth, and a team that is always good, always plays well, and really play well together.
You mentioned Christie. I thought off of their line of Christie, O'Neill, and Williams, I thought that O'Neill showed a lot of activity around the play. Christie got a little lost off on the wing, and when you have a player that's a skill player off on the wing, a lot of times you're trying to get them the puck and give them some time and some room to make some plays, but they weren't effective in getting him the puck in those situations, so something we'll watch for. Take a quick break here for the National Anthem. We'll be right back in about a minute. John Conley here with Jamie Langenbrunner, day 2 of the opener. Jamie, teams turn over a little quicker in high school than they would maybe in college or certainly the NHL. What I thought was very impressive yesterday for these teams, you have players that played lesser roles or maybe weren't even on the varsity last year that were very impressive. 2 that come to mind, Soderling from St. Thomas and Moore for Cloquet, Esco Carlton. Moore extremely fast. They both wear number 14. That's certainly something that I think is a very encouraging sign for both sets of coaches.
Yeah, I think you said it. I mean, there's going to be turnover. You're going to have kids coming in from your Bantam team. Usually those will be sophomore or freshmen, but the guys that played on your JV. And I think the development path and the growth in kids' game comes at different times. And I think it's a good lesson for all. Just stick with it, and you don't know when your time's going to come.
So last year, the goaltender a lot of people focused on in Minnesota was Atticus Kelly. I think he won some awards as the state's outstanding goaltender. St. Thomas had a very impressive performance yesterday from Muzzy Donahue. Morgan Donahue was outstanding in goal. So he was on the team, but didn't get to play a lot of meaningful minutes. And it was very, very comforting. Had he not played well, that score could have gotten out of hand. I think they only lost 4-1. It wasn't a blowout loss. And credit Donahue, a big part of that game yesterday for St. Thomas.
It's one of those things you never know, right? You got a good guy in front of you, and you got a good guy behind, and the opportunity never comes until later, So good for him, and hopefully for St. Thomas, he'll continue on that path.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Stepping into the faceoff circle, it's Landon. He looks over to his left. Galatz, he was an outstanding sophomore yesterday. And Rasmussen on the right. Rasmussen did have a goal. Faceoff, however, is won by St. Thomas. We get a quick whistle. It was early slashing call. We went through a game yesterday, Jamie, into the second period, late second half of the second period before we had a minor penalty. Penalties have the ability to change the momentum of a game. Here, it's just going to set the momentum for how this one starts out.
Well, you hope that, I'm a big believer in letting the kids play and call the stuff that needs to be called. And, the kids usually are, you got to set the ones that are going to be dangerous and can cause problems, but don't overthink it, right? Let them play.
Power play opportunity for the Lumberjacks. Rasmussen over to Akers. Akers, short pass to Landon. Landon with a pass that goes off the stick of Moore, and it's reeled in by Rasmussen. Chips it back on the point to Akers. Akers with a wrister. This one looking for a tip. Sails just wide, and it's rung out to the blue line and gets past Rasmussen and goes the length of the ice. That should run off about 20 seconds of this minor penalty. Still 90 seconds left in the Cloquet power play. Rasmussen gains the red, gains the blue, cuts toward the goal and fires a shot, goes just wide. Landon gets there first, and he comes out of the corner, walks it in, shoots top. Oh, what a huge save by Donahue. You could see Landon was going to the top corner with that one.
Yeah, good pick up off the wall. You know, drove the net pretty hard. Thought he saw a little spot up top and tried. Good save.
49 seconds into the game, this early penalty to St. Thomas puts them on a penalty kill situation. Both teams get a line change, and we look out now. It is Baker, John Baker in the face-off circle, joined by Huta, and I think we've got Galatz over here on the near wall, blue line, Anderson and Mason. Mason plays the puck off of his mitt, knocks it down, and can't quite keep it into the zone. Vega pressuring him. Over to Hallam. Hallam tries to leave a drop pass for Vega, but kind of loses it in the process, and opportunity here for the Lumberjacks to use their man advantage to just win the puck back. Gaining the blue line and dumping it in is Mason, goes into the corner, and it's pinched up along the boards. Huta can't quite keep this one in. It's out to neutral zone. In pursuit is Hallam. So one of the things that we saw yesterday through the game, I think we could see just from the first to the third, some of these teams evolving in terms of some of their schemes. Jamie, at this point, as someone looking at it from an outside perspective, would you like to see coaches focusing on clogging that neutral zone on a penalty kill, or really just kind of letting things go, rolling lines and trying to assess personnel, again, from an outsider's perspective, looking at the development of the players in the game?
Well, I think on the penalty kill, if you're trying to teach a penalty kill, I'm a big believer in pressure. Get the guys skating, put teams under pressure. To score in a power play, you got to make 4 good passes if you're pressuring properly, and I think that's very tough at this level. And I'm honestly a little surprised that there's not a little more pressure by teams put on.
5 seconds to go in this man advantage for the Lumberjacks. Senek into the corner. St. Thomas has returned to full strength, and they escape the zone. Here comes Keelan. Keelan with a shot. This one gets deflected, goes down into the corner. It's Soderling that gets there first. In pursuit, Senek arrives same time. Bodies a bang, and that's Williams. This is a pass over in the direction. Am I missing somebody here on my line chart? Oh, I thought it was 26. That's 36 is Drew Senek, and he's got a brother on the team, Wyatt. Wyatt not in goal today. They're going again with Carlson.
Yeah, there's a few different brother combinations. A couple of Bakers, a couple of Senech, a couple of Langenbrunners. It's small town hockey, right?
Yeah, I usually try to use the first name. So with the Langenbrunners, for example, your sons, it would be Landon and Mason, and then the Senek's only Drew's in this game because Carlson's in goal. But it's tough with the Bakers. I just not comfortable using real common first names like John and Nick. John and Nick Baker are out there for Cloquet. But nothing quite matches. I think it's Brainerd. What do they have? Triplets and another brother, 4 brothers. I think it's the Andrus family. I mean, that's a tough one to announce. So back to the action here. Shot comes from the point from Killian, bounces into the corner, and St. Thomas for the first time of the game, now that they're back to full strength, establishing their forecheck. Christie out of the corner, steps out in front, gets a shot off. I think it came off of Eldridge's stick, and that's their first shot of the game. It's a good start for St. Thomas, wouldn't you say? Yesterday they were on their heels for a period. Here they start out a man down, killed a penalty, and now that they're back full strength, they've actually gained possession and gained the zone and got a shot on goal early. Yeah,
good penalty kill. You know, power plays and penalty kill can really set the momentum to a game, and you get a big kill early, it can really get you going in the right direction.
Nice pass from Bomer. They work it up. Entering the zone is O'Neill. O'Neill with lots of room takes a shot. This one gets deflected and bounces off into the corner. Good play there by O'Neill. He seemed to have a lot of room and was very patient looking for that shooting lane. Good play by the Cloquet defender to get in there and deflect that one to the corner. Real good save there by Donahue. I think we're going to say that a lot this year for people following St. Thomas. Donahue doesn't seem to be phased at all, stepping in to fill those big skates of Atticus Kelly. Cloquet, breakout opportunity. They chip it out toward the neutral zone, but it's batted down by Hallam, and Second time's a charm. This one gets out to neutral zone, onto the stick of Bender. Bender with all sorts of time, goes on a guitar solo and tries a short drop pass over to Mason. Mason D to D, he hits Nordine. Nordine gains the red line, dumps this one in. They'll start working on a line change. Streaking up in front of the goaltender is Shimmick, gets it out to the neutral zone, over to Vega. Not quite able to keep it in from St. Thomas, and all of a sudden, Jamie, we seem to have a little bit of pressure here from St. Thomas, followed by about a minute of real choppy play. Both teams having trouble maintaining any possession. Passes aren't quite connecting.
Yeah, you sometimes have that afternoon games. I think head coach Pat Burns used to say, funny things happen in afternoon games, so be ready to go.
So true. I can't believe how early that football game was. Ohio State and Michigan might even be done by now. I don't know if it started at 11 or noon in the local time, but that was a very, very early start to a big game between two 10-1 teams. Shot came from the side from Dayak. Nice couple of saves here by Carlson, and the defense chip it out to the neutral zone, forcing St. Thomas's defenders on retreat. This is Wingus. Wingus pulls behind the goal, surveys the situation, and loses the puck. He got a little bit confused there. Nice kind of a dual forecheck. Both Lumberjacks setting up almost like pawns on a chessboard, boxing him in, and he got a little flustered behind the goal.
Yeah, good job. Almost a trap situation, I think. There's a goal.
They turn the puck over. Landon Langenbrunner picks it up. Couple tic-tac passes. Galitz, Bardowski, 1-0 early. Lumberjacks on the board. Turnover to Langenbrunner. I believe second one, is it Rasmussen to Galitz, or was it someone else?
I think Mason Schmitz was there on the end of a change there, and Mason Schmitz made a nice little play, fourth line right wing there. Nice little pass to find Galitz there. Nice play.
So it's 7 from 20 and 15. 7 from 20 and 15 has us at 1-0. Middle of the first period here. Cloquet on top. Yeah, hanging Muzzy out to dry there. The blind pass, it was a clearing attempt. He just assumed there might have been a wing on the board, banked it off the wall, and it's only a white jersey there. Langenbrunner picks that puck up, and it's into the back of the net 2 passes later. That's a type of careless defensive play. You expect to see it maybe at the beginning of the year, but hopefully for St. Thomas, they don't want to see that after a couple games under their belt.
Yeah, those are all things, a little more practice. I think what do these guys have? Maybe 8 practices, 7 practices together here to start the year. So some summer hockey issues probably going on a little bit where you get a little loose with the puck in areas. But
so they read that off as Galitz from Akers. I think we had it Galitz from Schmitz and Langenbrunner. Nonetheless, you've got access to video. You guys can go back in, watch after the fact, get that one. I do know Langenbrunner clearly had the secondary assist. He's the one that picked up that puck and made the first pass to get the play going. I think they
mistake the 2 and the 20 there, so I think they'll get that cleared up.
Entering the zone in pursuit is Nick Baker, and he goes down in a heap, and an opportunity for St. Thomas to gain the neutral zone. They chip it up ahead to Henry. Henry with a nice tic-tac passing and beautiful clean zone entry. Jamie, you just finished a thought about how it's only 7 practices into the season and these teams may not be connecting. And you saw a beautiful, nice spacing. They staggered and beautiful connection on about 4 passes from the Cadets as they entered the zone. They get another opportunity here. Coming up in front of the benches is Vega. Cuts over and nice pass. Oh, boom goes the dynamite. That is Shimmick. Shimmick from Vega, and we are tied.
Yeah, it looked like some miscommunication at the bench on who was going out. A late change caused a little bit of a bad gap, and problems happen.
Yeah, that was a nice way to answer back for the Cadets. If you follow professional golf, they came up with a statistic a few years ago about a bounce back. How often after a bogey does the player make a birdie? And credit the Cadets right there. That's a very impressive bounce back. A little bit careless in their own end to give up the goal. And then they took advantage of Cloquet getting a little bit confused on the line change. And 2 goals in rapid succession. It's 1-1 here from Bloomington Ice Garden.
Yeah, it was a nice play. Similar to the rush before where they made a nice play, good middle drive, opened up a lane, and then were able to connect. Good passing play.
Faceoffs won by the Lumberjacks, and this is back to Anderson. Anderson plays it to Mason. Stretch pass doesn't connect, and it goes the length of the ice for a whistle. Faceoff comes to the right of Carlson. Carlson is a returning goaltender, had a good season last year. 15-6-1 was his record. This year he's played a game already. It was a regulation tie with an overtime loss. Shimmick read off as the goal scorer. All right, the public address announcer didn't have a secondary assist on that one. I think if we watch this game back afterward, we will identify there probably was a pass there to Vega that set up the play. So we're coming up on the midpoint of the first period. There's 9 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first, and we are tied. Mason goes behind the goal, rings it over in the direction of John Baker. Baker tips this one to Bender, and they're out to neutral. Baker enters the zone. He's got Langenbrunner. I thought your son lined up defense on this shift, but he was quickly getting up into the play, joining the rush. And one of the things we saw with him yesterday, he's got good understanding, good game sense for when to join the play and when to lay back. And we saw an example right there. He's going to have a lot of points this year as a defenseman in his first year of varsity action for the Lumberjacks.
I think that's one of the biggest changes in hockey in probably the last 20 years is the active defensemen. They're much more involved in the rush, especially at the higher levels, and you're seeing it starting to progress down into the younger levels here as we go along.
Lumberjacks on the forecheck and dumping it in deep. Puck off the stick of Drew Senich, and oh, that pass doesn't connect, and it's a breakout opportunity for Keelan. Keelan out to neutral zone. He hits Eldridge. Eldridge content to play a little chip and chase. He's going to work a little hustle game against Akers, fighting a battle down into the corner, and the two are knotted up. Unfortunately for Eldridge, there wasn't a lot of help there. Jamie, I saw one blue jersey, and nobody seemed to want to go in there and help, and it's an easy opportunity for Cloquet to win the puck and break it out.
Yeah, good one-on-one battle, won by Akers there. Pretty decent rush. I like that self-chip once in a while. It's a little bit underutilized play. You know, a lot of times kids just want to go and beat a guy one-on-one when the play might be to.
Home run pass to Christie. It's into the back of the net. That's a beautiful pass from the right defender, diagonally up ice to a streaking Ray Christie. I mentioned earlier that Rob Christie mentioned earlier that Christie had been a little bit quiet yesterday. He was kind of lost off on his wing. They had trouble getting him the puck. Here we are, middle of the first period. A home run pass, and it is good for a goal here. Christie puts St. Thomas Academy on top. Rob Christie makes this one 2-1.
Yeah, nice move. Beating the D, using his body to protect the puck, and strike the net hard. Nice move.
Rob Christie, 20 goals, 22 assists, 42 points last year, and he's got his first goal of the year. So they credit O'Neill with the assist. O'Neill is centering that line. Kind of looked like a pass that might have come from where a defender was. O'Neill with that stretch pass all the way up ice to Christie. And I kind of have a feeling that's a play that maybe developed with the kids on the bench. Hey, look for me. I'm going to be up here.
That was a nice play. It's a cross-ice pass, used the width of the ice, got wide speed, and took a good angle to the net.
If your ears are ringing, it's because Shimmick just dinged this one off the crossbar up into the netting. Shimmick almost made this one 3-1. It's 2-1 early, and 7 minutes to go, first period. Yeah, 3 goals. What do you suppose that was? About 2 minutes apart between the first and the third goal?
Not a lot of time. A little back and forth. Some breakdowns, some good plays. It was some good hockey. I like to see the back and forth hockey myself.
Yeah, so both teams have had a lead. Right now it is St. Thomas on top 2-1. Mason chips a pass over in the direction of Moore. They can't quite get outside the zone. It's kept in at the blue line by big McLean Bodette. Talked about him yesterday. He looks to be about 6'4". Big shot coming up here. This one gets deflected by Moore. Rebound opportunity goes just wide from Hallam. It's been a very good couple of shifts here from the Cadets since they gave up that goal.
Yeah, they've really turned it up. Been moving good. Pucks moving, using each other well, creating space. It's good answer after getting scored on early.
Moore with a slap shot that gets deflected down, and it's chipped out to neutral by the Cadets. They go off for 80% of a line change. Only Bodette stayed out on the ice, and a little bit confusing there as we had a streaking John Baker that got around a flat-footed McLean Bodette, and couldn't quite get the help he needed in the slot to support the puck, and crisis averted for the Cadets. Overlap pass to Keelan. Keelan shot tipped over by the goaltender Carlson, and St. Thomas is back on the forecheck. Keelan circles out of the corner, plays this one back to the blue line, kept in at the point by Bamer. Now it's chipped out to neutral by the Lumberjacks. A little bit of a neutral zone stalemate for a moment before sweeping in is Dayak. Dayak with a shot straight into the breadbasket, and this is grabbed by Carlson. Faceoff comes to his right.
The Minnesota Blizzard offer fall midget teams playing at the highest level for 15s, 16U, and 18U. For more information, please visit our website. The Minnesota Blizzard.
We just heard from the Minnesota Blizzard. Gallitz is a player that I saw play a few games for the Minnesota Blizzard this fall. And one of the things that Jamie and I were talking about before today's game is just how we looked at some players maybe in their first varsity action, but it's not necessarily their first high-level action. A player like Mason comes off the Bantam team, played in the high school elite league already, tons of fall midget programs. And one of the bigger changes since I played is just how many fall hockey options there are to supplement the high school season.
Yeah, these guys can pretty well play hockey all year round if they choose to.
Great play here from Rasmussen to steal the puck, keep it in the zone, and now they're on the attack. Here's Landon. Landon surveying the situation with a shot. He was looking for a deflection there, but Muzzy Donahue makes the save. Face-off comes to his left. We had Rasmussen paying the price. He got blitzed down there in the low slot area.
Yeah, you went to the area you need to go. You know, either get eyes in front of or get in front of the goalie's eyes, or get a deflection. If you want to score goals, you got to go to those areas.
If you watched our game yesterday for Cloquet, you saw Shane Griffin went out for Lakeville North. Want to mention him. Never like seeing a player get injured. There was a suspicion it might have been a broken collarbone. I haven't heard a final diagnosis, but Lakeville North loses one of their top players for some of the first games in the season as Shane Griffin went out with an injury. Won't be playing tonight.
Yeah, that's too bad. Like you said, you never want to see anyone get hurt in this game. And unfortunately, those things happen. Just glad it wasn't a dirty play. Just one of those hockey plays that the board catches you wrong and on a clean hit, and that's unfortunate. Hopefully he comes back healthy.
Rasmussen goes off for a minor penalty. One of the things that was interesting about that first game is one of the biggest hits I've ever seen was actually two, I think it was Cloquet players colliding. Somebody went butt over tea kettle, and it was a really crazy hit. But two players on the own team, each other's team, just ran into each other. So we had a coincidental minors. What a coincidence. So offsetting minors. There is no power play situation. Shimmick goes off for the Cadets. Rasmussen for the Lumberjacks. And it's a nice zone time pressure here. Anderson from the point for the Lumberjacks. And a big rebound finally gives St. Thomas an opportunity to break this one out to the neutral zone. They try to set up their forecheck. Short-lived, however, as it's grabbed by Baker. Baker's out to neutral, gains the red line and tries to fight hard around Wingus, but Wingus rides him off the play very nicely. And all alone in front of the goal. What a stray puck wound up onto the stick of Bender. How do you suppose he found himself all alone? Seemed like a little bit of a nap there by the St. Thomas defenders to leave him alone in front of the goal.
Yeah, a little late on the back check. One battle there by Aaron Moore in the corner to make the pass, which was a nice little play, but some lost coverage definitely by the D.
Face-off comes to the right of Donahue. 4 minutes, 1 second remains in the first period. St. Thomas has a 2-1 lead. Cloquet scored first. It was Gallitz with an assist to Langenbrunner. We think it was Schmitz with the other, but they do now trail 2-1. Out to neutral zone. St. Thomas works the puck up ahead. This is Eldridge. Eldridge with a shot that hits the defender Anderson and goes wide. Anderson chips this one off the glass and gets up into the rafters. So what's next for you? You had a chance to watch the kids play some hockey this weekend, but you see a lot of hockey games at multiple levels. And where to next, Jamie? Who's your next targets that you have to go catch for work?
I'll be watching the Iowa Wild on Monday, and the big team against I think Arizona on Minnesota and Arizona on Tuesday. I think those will be my next two games. Then I think after that, maybe a few college games.
So we talked about your role with the Boston Bruins, and you're tracking players that are already either on the radar or their rights are owned. So not full-blown scouting, watching maybe amateur levels, but once players are drafted by the Bruins and in the system, if you will. You're going to follow their play. And I suppose when you see that many NHL games, you have some thoughts on who might be candidates for trade matchups when the team's looking at NHL trades and such.
Yeah, try to keep an idea of what's going on, right? Kind of know what teams have, what the depth is, where guys that might fit, places where we might be missing some depth, stuff like that.
So you've lived in New Jersey and St. Louis with your playing career, so the kids were playing some there, and I've come from Florida after growing up in Minnesota. We talked a little bit about how hockey is set up in other places. One of the players that I followed is from my hometown in Florida, Vito, Florida. Actually got a chance at kind of an example of what we're talking about, the work that you do. He was kind of left for dead with San Jose and joined, picked up off of waivers Vegas midseason, went straight into the lineup, played all the games, and was a big part of their team through the playoff run into the Stanley Cup run. I think he, dressed most of those Stanley Cup games. And that's, I think, right at the bubble of being an NHL player. And, right, if you're getting cut and left for dead by San Jose, there's a whole world out there where people like you are following that level of player in the NHL to make sure you know how they fit into your system. And
right, just because you're not a fit for some team, or the timing isn't right for one team, it sure can be for others. So teams are always scouring, paying attention. We all have very large staffs that are watching players, so you're going to have a good idea of who everybody else has.
2 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the period. Landon led a rush there, but it ended up with puck being turned over to St. Thomas, who cleared it out to neutral, where they quickly lost possession. And Cloquet is trying to gain the zone and gain possession on this shift. Circling back in his own end, it's Akers playing it over to Mason. Mason brings this one up in front of the benches. Short pass over to Moore. He's active around wherever you go. Wherever he goes, it seems like good stuff's happening. He's very, very active and brings a high motor and a lot of top-end speed to this team.
Yeah, he's got a good motor. Kid works really, really hard. Maybe a little bit of an undersized kid, but he works hard and able to create stuff because of that.
He's a junior that played 23 games, 5 goals, 8 assists last year. I would expect those numbers to at least double, and maybe even more so. Moore seems to be poised for a very good year for this Lumberjack team.
Yeah, I think Coach Walters will hope they double. That's what that's what you want from guys progressing from a sophomore into their junior year, would be the numbers to continue to climb, and for them to have some success, that's going to need to happen.
1:24 remains in the first period. Or between periods, we've got a nice feature here from Brett Stroyed. Brett is associate head coach of the U.S. Olympic team, won the gold medal coaching the U.S. women, and have a chance to hear from Gavin Rasmussen. Gavin Rasmussen interviewed by Thomas Porter from the Buffalo House. So that's our between period entertainment here for you guys to enjoy. So when this period ends, 1 minute to go in this period, Jamie and I will take a quick break, but you've got no reason to go anywhere. You can hear from Brett Stroyed and Gavin Rasmussen between periods. Good zone time here from Cloquet. They still trail, however. Shot comes from the point. Glove save. Akers shot straight into the mitt of Donahue. Faceoff comes to his left.
Nice pick off there by Cade Bender in front to create an opportunity. Those are ones you need to bury, though. Those are some pretty good chances that have been missed here.
So, Jamie, we talked pregame about some game thoughts. I think from the standpoint of the St. Thomas coaches, they've got to be very impressed with how the kids bounced back. Disappointing defeat yesterday. They were outclassed in the first period and lost 4-1 to Minnetonka. Short turnaround with an afternoon game. They've had a very good period here after they fell down 1-0, 2 quick goals, and 40 seconds to go. Looks like they might leave the period with a lead.
Yeah, especially, we haven't even talked about the fact they got 2 of their senior players getting ready for a football game tonight. 2 guys that would be important guys on this roster. So, they've had a good period, and a team, I think you said it earlier, has a good chance to be in St. Paul at the end of the year.
Yes, McFadden last year, 31 games, 10 goals, 22 assists, 32 touchdowns, 32 points. 32 points sounds like a lot, except for he has 36 touchdowns this year, maybe 37, I can't remember. So that's McFadden. Herzog also not here, 31 games, 11 goals, 12 assists, 23 points. And those are players who will have their player profiles running at the Christmas tournament, Hockey for Life from Prior Lake. So you'll get a chance to see those guys. Today's guest between period 2 and 3 is going to be Muzzy Donahue, who's in goal for St. Thomas. Interviewed him at Jack's Cafe. Our host is Thomas Odegaard. Thomas is St. Thomas Academy student on the basketball team. Trying that home run pass out to Rasmussen as the period ends. He plays this one over in our direction to Landon. Landon with a short pass, streaking to Galitz. Galitz tries to get a shot. Second time's a charm, but that backhand is saved by Donahue, and that's how the period ends. 2-1 is your score.
Back and forth, pretty good period. You know, teams had both had some good chances. A couple of spurts, really. You know, Cloquet gets the power play early and scores one, and then St. Thomas dominates for about an 8-minute stretch, and Cloquet seemed to battle back with some good opportunities there in the last part of the period.
You guys enjoy the between period entertainment. John Conley here with Jamie Langenbrunner. We'll be right back with period 2 action.
Hello there, I'm John Connolly with Eden Hall Academy. I am the headmaster. I'm also the tournament director for the Memorial Day Challenge, which last year was the largest youth hockey event across the entire Sun Belt in the off season. We had about 72 teams and about 1,000 families that came to the Tampa Bay area for a great weekend of vacation and hockey. For years, I've fielded my own Eden Hall Academy teams. Players have gone on to become NHL draft picks like Akil Thomas and several NCAA commitments at schools like Dartmouth, Notre Dame, Northeastern, Michigan State, and others. It's a great opportunity. I'd like to personally invite you to bring your family and be a part of this upcoming season. We've got a great coach that's already on board. We'll practice a couple times to get ready in Minnesota and then have a nice, great vacation with very good hockey. There's more NHL teams in Florida than there are in the state of hockey, believe it or not. And as a result, the youth hockey is very good. And also a wonderful vacation opportunity. Gulf beaches, my favorite small town in all of America, Tarpon Springs. And you can go enjoy that year-round 72-degree cool water and cool off in the nice hot Florida weather at Weeki Wachee Springs or do a glass-bottom boat ride. Lots of several fun things you can do. It's a great weekend, and for more information, just send me an email. You want to get in touch to be included in any updates as we go through the planning stages, and check out my website, EdenHallCo.com. Just click on Academy. Email address is john@EdenHallCo.com. Love to have you be a part of 2019.
I'm here with Brett Stroyed at Punch Bowl Social in St. Louis Park. Brett, thanks for your time today. It's another great season of high school hockey in Minnesota. You're a native Minnesotan, so where are you from?
Well, originally from Brooklyn Park, and then parents moved over to the Maple Grove area, so I spent my years playing at Osseo High School, and then eventually made my way down to Florida.
So you called it Osseo High School. OMG is what they call it now. So you were back at Osseo High School before they had a program with Maple Grove.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot out in Maple Grove, downtown Maple Grove, at a McDonald's and an SA gas station and maybe a grocery store. That was about it on Weaver Lake Drive. That was what I remember of Maple Grove at that time.
So a lot's changed in Maple Grove, and a lot's changed in your world as well. I know you played for the Gophers and embarked on a minor pro career, but why don't you tell us what you're up to now? Excitement back in February.
Yeah, we just came off winning the gold medal with the women's USA Olympic team there, so I had an opportunity to coach with my college women, Ross Sauber and Paul Mara. And we also were able to have a 6-month residency down in my hometown down in Tampa at the Wesley Chapel Florida Hospital Ice Arena.
Well, that's fantastic. Obviously, the women had kind of been snake-bit in the Olympics. Canada's a worthy opponent, and a lot went up. Really, 4 years of work to get to that point, so congratulations. That was a high mark for American hockey.
Thank you very much.
So in between, we mentioned Osseo youth, playing for the Gophers, and then more recently coaching, associate head coach. But in between, why don't you tell us what your career is and what is it that you do year in, year out?
Well, I operate a Tier 3 junior hockey program called the Tampa Bay Juniors down in the Tampa Bay area. But we really specialize in helping kids get on the right path to becoming faster, both not only with their bodies, speed of their feet we call it, but also the speed of their mind, how they think the game and their skills. Every time you go to a higher level, the game is faster, and so we really target on those areas specifically with individuals, to help them get on the right path, to help them achieve some of their higher goals that they may have in hockey.
So you're coaching junior hockey. Maybe tell our viewers, who's a candidate to play at this level?
Well, we're up here in Minnesota. This is kind of our recruiting grounds, and, we're looking for those players that are right on the cusp of making the North American Hockey League or the USHL, the Tier 1 or Tier 2 levels. Looking for those players that just need maybe another year of development and training. That's what's great about junior hockey, John, is myself, I played 1 year in the USHL before going on to the University of Minnesota, and if it wasn't for junior hockey, I never would have had that opportunity. So a lot of players just need an extra year or two to grow and develop and have a chance to play, and then again, hockey is a nationwide sport now. It's not a Minnesota, Massachusetts, Michigan sport like it was when we were growing up. And so players from Florida or Texas can still get those same opportunities, or even kids from Minnesota coming down to Florida.
So, Brett, talking about a player from Minnesota that's going to head and go through a season of hockey based in Tampa, why don't you give us an idea of what that looks like, and maybe number of games and the schedule and how much travel and how much training are they on the ice? This is the state of hockey, and you're the Sunshine State, so it sounds a little foreign maybe going south for hockey, but give us an idea what a year looks like.
Yeah, a lot of things in the last 10, 12 years, and hockey's nationwide, and the Tampa Bay Juniors with the junior program, it's run like a college team. We travel as a team. We have a couple trips that we fly to up in the Northeast in the Chicago area. Otherwise, we're on a charter bus with our players. We're practicing and training every single day. And being in Florida, what I found as a player in the minor leagues is that, in the wintertime, it's a clear blue sky, which I found out is a high pressure system, which means you're more apt to being active. And so, to be an athlete, you need to train. And so it just gives you that energy and to be vibrant and want to be active rather than just kind of sitting around all day while it's snowing. So there's a lot of advantages to playing in Florida.
And you'll learn a lot about meteorology if you play for Coach Brett Stroyed. So that's awesome. So a player's going to come down from Minnesota, go through a season or two junior hockey in Tampa with the Tampa Juniors, or maybe go somewhere else with another Tier 3 junior team. What's the goal for those players? What is it they're trying to attain?
Well, again, they're trying to get to college hockey, and Division I college hockey would be their ultimate goal. And so obviously players, need to get to that Tier 1 or Tier 2 level. So for those players, this Tier 3 level is a stepping stone for them to get another year under their belt to, again, we focus on helping them become a player that can play at a higher level, through the areas of speed. And so that's really what it's about for those players. But there are some other players that may be a little bit older, aging out, and they have an opportunity to play Division III college hockey, or there's some great college club teams out there. And so there's a place for every player to continue on playing hockey beyond their junior years.
So you're looking for players that have a interest in getting better and a passion for the game.
Correct.
And if I've got the visual right, it could be a gulf that's a little bit too far for someone to jump across. There's a stepping stone that can help them get there. What about player success stories that have taken that step and really gone on to do some pretty impressive things? What are some examples that you can give us?
Yeah, well, we had a group of kids that were Florida-born kids that, was another guy. They were in Minnesota, and Brian Ferlin comes to name, who's a kid who went to the junior program, and right from there went on to the USHL and on to Cornell, and then signed with the Boston Bruins. Luke Peronovich, a player that you'll be talking to here as well, from Edina, came down to our program, made the jump to the North American Hockey League, and now he's going to Providence. So again, those are great success stories. Another player from Finland who came at a young age is now in the Dallas organization. So those are the higher end stories, but there's also stories of players that have gone on to D3 college hockey or even some cup programs as well.
Brett, those are some great examples of some kids from your program, and I know you do a great job with the Tampa Juniors, but there's also other programs that do a good job as well. And I think that the one that really comes to mind as a poster child for what junior hockey can do just played in the Stanley Cup Finals with the Vegas Golden Knights, another Florida player, Ryan Carpenter. So if we started jotting down names and made a list, we'd run out of paper with how many players have gone on to play at major colleges or even in the NHL out of this level of junior hockey.
No, absolutely. And so, again, for me, I see a lot of kids chase after it. I think the most important thing is to recognize what your strengths are and your weaknesses are, and find a program that's going to help you in grow in those areas, because this day and age, they'll find you if you're good enough. I think a lot of kids chase after it. I think more if you focus on really what you need to work on and find that program, you're going to have greater results.
Brett, that's fantastic. Thanks for all your time.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Minnesota's hockey culture is one of, if not the best in America, so it's only fitting that one of the best hockey camps in the world is right here in Nisswa.
This is Dan Germanson. Welcome to Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer based in Nisswa, Minnesota in the beautiful Brainerd Lakes area. At MHC, there is a culture that breeds success. We offer resident and day camps for boys and girls of all ages from mites to NHL, 9 weeks throughout the summer.
We've had probably 700 NHLers come through here.
We have 32 hockey-related activities per week. Over the years, we have had close to 400 professional players come through our camp, including Division I, Stanley Cup, and Olympic champions.
I'm a little surprised that this camp is still here. To be honest with you, we thought it would be about a 20-year run, and it actually got better.
Visit our website at mnhockeycamps.com. Registration opens January 1st for 2019.
Hi, I'm Thomas Porter.
I'm Gavin Rasmussen.
And we're the CDC Lumberjacks. And we're at the Buffalo House in Cloquet. So Gavin, let's play Two Lies and a Truth. What do you got?
First one is I have scored a hat trick in one shift. Another is I've broken 3 sticks in a game. And I used to think I was Spider-Man.
All right, well, I'm going to think about those and we're going to come back to that later. All right, but my next question for you is what's your favorite vacation spot?
I really like Yellowstone. It was a really cool place. I went there last summer and I saw some wolves really devour a buffalo. So yeah, that was very fascinating.
You didn't do anything?
No, it was ways away. I didn't want to get eaten.
You didn't want to get eaten. Well,
Nope.
That's one way to survive, I guess.
Yep.
What's your favorite genre of music?
Ooh, I really like country music. You know, if the Drunk Girl by Chris Jansen or Watching You by Rodney Atkins comes on the radio, I'm going to be singing the whole song loud and proud the whole time.
All right, that sounds pretty northern Minnesotan to me.
Yeah.
Well, Gavin, what's your celebrity crush?
Selena Gomez.
Why?
Have you seen Selena Gomez?
Well, that's pretty reasonable, I guess. What's the best thing about Cloquet girls, Gavin?
Well, they can hack out a cord of wood with the chainsaw and then look good in heels a couple hours later. That's great.
That is very true. That is very true. I'd say so myself. All right, well, we're going to go to break, and we'll see you guys in a little bit.
We're in the banquet room.
Yep. All right, guys, we're back in the banquet room of the Buffalo House, and I'm going to go back to the two truths and 2 lies and a truth. And your 2 lies were what? 2 lies and a truth were what?
I've broken 3 sticks in a game.
3 sticks.
I've had a hat trick in one shift.
Okay.
And I used to think I was Spider-Man.
All right, well, I'm going to say your one truth is you thought you were Spider-Man.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. And, well, that's all we got for Gavin. Thank you for watching. Thomas Porter.
Gavin Rasmussen.
Hi, I'm Dane Steinhoff, and we're at the Buffalo House. It's been established since 1972 by my grandfather, and if you're ever in Cloquet or Duluth or Esco, swing by and get a good meal.
Back. John Connolly here with Jamie Langenbrunner. It was a good first period for the St. Thomas Cadets. They had a tough game yesterday, lost to Minnetonka, fell down early to Cloquet and answered back with 2 goals. They now lead 2-1.
Yeah, you said it earlier where we talked about they get the big penalty kill and then seem to gain some momentum off of that. Cloquet scores the first one, and then the answer was swift and the shots seemed to come in a big bunch there. Cloquet seemed to rebound a little bit towards the end of the period and create a couple chances, but definitely period 1 to St. Thomas.
So one of the things that I do when I announce a high school game, Jamie, is I like to help people understand a little bit about these communities. Let's say somebody's watching from Cloquet. They may not know enough about St. Thomas's history or vice versa. So I go through people that graduated from the schools, and I try to keep it away from sports as best I can. So Help me out here. Who's the most prominent graduate of Cloquet High?
Well, that would most likely be Jessica Lang.
Yeah, so my hint was going to be the initials are JL. And I always do non-hockey, so, present company excluded, it was non-sports related when I can. So, yeah, we'll talk about a few more of those as we go. And we had some fun ones for St. Thomas. Back to the action here. 2-1 is your score. 17 goes up on the board, and it's a breakout opportunity early. Langenbrunner's pass out to the neutral zone. A little bit too far for Rasmussen. Second time's a charm, however, and gets this one up to Rasmussen, who chips it in and working against Killian. Killian over to Bamer. Bamer out to the neutral zone. Stolen. Beautiful play there by Galat, skating around like Kenny Wu. Kenny Wu. It's
a little Mighty Ducks reference. Here we go.
It is. So, Jamie, I'm not kidding. I always use the Kenny Wu reference when I see the players make that dipsy-do pirouette. Anything like that, I always talk about Kenny Wu. So I'm announcing a game in this midget league up at Blaine. And one of the hockey academies from Western Canada had 3 kids with Japanese surnames.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, I better not. Like, someone's going to think that it was somehow like an insensitive comment. But you've seen it. I will use the Kenny Wu reference. And
I think that's fair. I think anytime you can use any Mighty Ducks reference in your broadcast, you should do it.
Yeah, so the production company you're working for today here, Eden Hall Productions. How do you think I got the name Eden Hall Productions, right? So
there you go.
People wonder, hey, how'd you come up with Eden Hall? Well, Mighty Ducks 3, the kids went to boarding school. It was Eden Hall Academy, so that's where the Eden Hall name comes from. Back to the action here. St. Thomas with a little bit of zone time, working on some pressure. Opportunity here for Nick Baker to bang it off the wall in the direction. Hard to believe Rasmussen's still out there. Has this been a long shift, or have they already been off and back on?
It was a long shift. They kept him out there after the first face-off, and then it's been a continual fire drill after that. Some missed passes, and you spend some time in your zone when you're tired.
We got a minute and 26 to have elapsed in the second period, and like you said, they were pinned in their zone, couldn't get them off. So a little bit of a long shift for the Cloquet to get started, but they managed to get the whistle, and they bring out some fresh bodies. This is the second period where you're defending the goal further from your bench. Sometimes leads to some transition odd man rushes. We'll watch for those. The last goal actually came on a beautiful stretch pass to Christie, so might get some end-to-end hockey here in the second period. Left defense is Wingus. Wingus throws this one. It comes up high off the glass, thrown out in front of the net, but broken up very, very nicely by Bender. Bender pushes it off to the wall, and now he gets control of it. Skates a little bit, but he hits a skate boot, throwing it up the middle. So what are your thoughts about a pass like that early in the season?
Put yourself in trouble. You know, I think we've seen a couple of poor decisions with the puck, and like you said, a lot of zone time, like probably about a minute 40 straight there. Looks like they may have got bailed out with a penalty by St. Thomas, but you know, missed passes seem to haunt you for a long time in this game.
Roughing the call, it's McLean Bodette that goes off. Bodette, new to high school hockey in Minnesota, played his midget hockey with the Colorado Rampage in the Denver area. This is a face-off down to the right of goaltender Donahue, and they've opted to go with Rasmussen back on the blue line. He's paired up with Akers, Landon, Moore, and Bender. Bender pulls it off the skate boot.
Good pinch down by Akers to hold the puck in on the power play. Good decision there, and then decent passing play, and both of them good pickup by Bender to get that one from his skate to a stick relatively quickly. Good save.
Yeah, he showed a lot of coordination there. Kicked it off the skate boot onto the stick blade, got a shot off. Wasn't a big, strong shot, but nonetheless, he got it on goal. Donahue with a save there. Now a cover, a couple face-offs over to his right. A theme that we saw yesterday is these teams that were able to win draws when they were on the power play, here we have another one, can extend the effective power play time a great deal because they're not ever retreating out of zone, and it really helps to win those face-offs on the power play.
Power play, shorthanded, you know, pretty well anywhere. Get control of that puck is such a big thing to have possession time. You know, you don't have to go work to get it back. Makes a big difference.
Landon enters the zone, cuts to his forehand, takes a snapper, but it deflects off of Shimmick. They do hold the zone, however. It's back on Landon's stick. He's got a little bit of time and room, and he surveys the situation. Short pass over to Akers. Akers back to Landon. Pulls this one and plays out backed up. A little two-man game like Sutton and Youngblood.
Yeah, another missed pass, though, and puck gets cleared. Now you're back having to regroup and killing more time.
Still a minute to go in this man advantage. Rasmussen over to Langenbrunner. Landon gains the zone, leaves a drop pass over here for Moore. I talked in the pregame about number 14 both ways, Soderling and Moore. Those are some players that I expected to have a good game and a big say in how this one develops. And here we see Moore out on the power play with Rasmussen, Langenbrunner, Akers, and Bender. Out top to Akers. Akers with a shot. This one hits Moore and gets deflected just wide of the goal, and it's a breakout opportunity if St. Thomas can get possession. But right now they're outnumbered in the corner, and it pops out to Bender. Bender, backhand, passes out to Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner's shot gets deflected en route to the goal and dribbles off into the corner. Rasmussen out top. Akers with a fake shot. He wound up sliding it over to Bender. Akers gets one more chance. Final 10 seconds of this man advantage. An opportunity for St. Thomas to clear, but they throw it right under the tape of Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner with a shot as the penalty expires up into the netting.
Yeah, miss clear and get another shot there at the end of the power play. Obviously a tired group. I think it stayed out there for the entire 2 minutes, which we'll see if that hurts you later on. But a couple of looks. I don't know if they had a ton of quality shots, but a couple of looks on that power play.
13 minutes and 1 second remain, and if this is reminiscent of how the game began, maybe St. Thomas can use the momentum from a successful penalty kill to now get the puck, and sure enough, they enter the zone 2-on-1. Shot comes from a wide angle. Had a shot or pass option there from Williams. Williams chose the shot, saved by Carlson, quick cover, and a face-off comes to his left.
Yeah, defenseman blows the wheel there, gets caught up on the transition, and quick strike attack. Good save by Carlson, getting up on top of his crease.
12:49 remains. 2-1 is the score. Cloquet trails St. Thomas, and St. Thomas with a face-off win. And big, juicy rebound there. Hallam took the shot. Soderling couldn't quite get his stick on it, but that's the type of thing that might really cause Cloquet to fall into a deeper hole. If they're not able to, oh, there's a slash up coming on Cloquet. The slash back didn't get called. I don't know if you saw, there was a delayed penalty, and very visibly right in front of the referee, a little tomahawk chop that went uncalled that would have offset that minor penalty.
Yeah, usually that's the one that gets called, not the first one, right? It's a little different one there. I think they might have got either slash or a high stick on the first one, but definitely a penalty.
The St. Thomas Academy is widely known for a rigorous academic environment. The kids learn very, very quickly. I think he learned the lumberjack chop there with that, but it went uncalled, so I guess they got away with it.
It came from a short distance, so a few of those love taps are okay once in a while, right?
It must have been the reasoning here. It's an interesting setup. I mentioned this yesterday. We're running 2 referees, 2 linesmen, a 4-man crew. Typically in Minnesota high school, it's 2 referees and 1 linesman that I'm used to seeing. And interesting how many people we've got out on the ice. Really reduces the amount of skating the linesman has to do, having 2 of them.
Yeah, it's I think going to be a continual debate how many need to be out there, and where's the lines. It's tough. It's always so many different systems between minor hockey and the college level and pro level and high school. It's they all seem to run a little bit of a different system.
Yeah, for sure. USA Hockey doesn't even recognize or utilize a 1 referee, 2 linesman system, 2 referee, 1 linesman system. There's this 1 ref, 2 linesmen.
Yeah.
Then you see a high school game, and the same guys will come out, not put on the USA Hockey crest, and they'll run 2 referees and 1 linesman, and a lot of stuff for those guys to keep up with. St. Thomas power play, they have 80 seconds remaining. They've gained the zone, and they play this one out top to Bamer. Bamer reels this one in, gets control of it, surveys, walks it down the blue line, comes in high with the shot. I always like seeing that shot come in more below the knees, and that one got up high, and hard to get a tip when it's up that high, and the goaltenders usually can block it if it makes it through the net.
Yeah, it's that fine line, right? Goalies like to play down, so if you find one that gets through, some of those find their way in, but they definitely are almost impossible to tip up at that level.
Killian with a good shot there that was deflected wide. Now it's out to the top. O'Neill plays this one to Killian again. Killian's kind of setting up on this near side in what I usually call that Ovechkin or the Stamkos spot. We saw a beautiful goal yesterday from Minnetonka. Oh, and as he went to shoot, it rolled off his stick.
Yeah, those guys that are able to find that spot, it's a nice little quiet zone where you can get a lot of shots from a quality area from.
That playoff run last year, I would joke about, this power play of Washington. Ovechkin wouldn't even skate. He'd stand there the whole time, and he'd have his stick resting on his knees, just waiting for them to get him the puck. And he could fire it every now and then. It would go in, and definitely earned his pay, but didn't even have to skate to do it. Throwing the length of the ice, that should kill the remainder of the penalty. Rasmussen dumps it down, 5 seconds to go, 3-2-1. Cloquet Lumberjacks are full strength as Mason comes back out and jumps right into the play and fights a turnover, wins it. Chipped from his brother Landon, but he was zagging instead of zigging, and it gave St. Thomas an opportunity to get possession. They fan on the pass out to the neutral zone. It's a slow roller, winds up onto the stick of Galatz. He hits Landon. Landon enters the zone, but he's stood up by Henry. Out to neutral, this is Anderson. I just noticed Anderson's quite tall.
Yeah, he's one of, I think there's 6 kids in the family, and I think he's the second to the youngest, 6'3"-ish, 6'4" maybe.
Yeah.
And he might be the short ones of the brothers. They're all pretty tall kids.
He's probably eye to eye with McLean Bodette, number 5 on St. Thomas wearing blue right in front of you. These are some of the bigger boys in this game, and he is just a sophomore for Cloquet. Anderson's got a couple years ahead. A lot of promising sophomores here at the opener this weekend. You'll want to listen at the end of the final game today when Tim Hannes and I name not just an all-tournament team, but also a Bright Futures team with the best freshmen and sophomores that we saw this weekend. Big shot steered aside by goaltender Carlson. Stucker had that one on his stick, and now he's behind the net fighting. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't Stucker. It was 20 Keelan. Keelan plays this one back to the point. Shimmick with his shot. This one's deflected off to the side. Now it played back to the point. Bodette with a nice low pass. He hits Hallam. Hallam tries a counter move, but he's just outnumbered and bodied off the puck. Winds up chipping it over to Soderling. Soderling has it stolen away and out to neutral zone. Jeanneret, little opportunity here for Coach Walters to get a little deeper in the depth chart. Jeanneret and Durand out there. Didn't see a lot of them in the first period.
Yeah, he's had a tendency to use them a little bit here early in the season. He's seen trying to see what he's got. Go through this whole lineup and get an idea of all the players and sort it out a little bit.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish. If you can reach that state tournament, they'll never forget you. And you don't necessarily have to win 2 games at the opener to have a memorable high school season. So what are your thoughts? We're at the midpoint of the game, 8:54 remains. What would you be thinking on the bench? And I know you coach because I saw you at the USA top, what do they call that, the All-America Prospects game. You coached in that one. A little different vibe, right? That's more of a celebration of talent. But if you're on the bench right now, what are you thinking? What does Cloquet need to do to level this one? They trail 2-1.
Well, I think their urgency level, and I know these guys pretty good. I've coached a lot of them at the youth level, and they're much more successful when they're playing with pace and playing with a lot of energy. And right now, I just don't see that they have that intensity to their game. They're kind of watching what other people are doing, and I think that's got to be their calling card. Is all 5 guys moving? Too much standing around right now.
Out to neutral zone. This is Dayak. Dayak tries to work around the defenders. Got to take a long route, but Mason was in pretty good position. They eventually forced the turnover and come the other direction. Here comes more plays with a lot of pace. One of the things you just mentioned is you'd like to see the kids play with a sense of pace and urgency, and Moore can fly.
Yeah, he's a good little skater. He gets himself into some spots and goes after the puck, and tough little kid. He's I think running back, a quarterback on the football team. One of those guys that multi-sport athlete, good baseball player too.
So which high school is he the quarterback for?
He plays at Esco. I think he played running back most of it. I think Esco's a smaller school. I think he was there.
Esco needed a quarterback because one of them went down with Dane Steinhoff. I know he's a quarterback. And,
yeah, he was the original. Yeah,
he got hurt. So, yeah, not all of these kids wearing white come from the same high school. Here comes Langenbrunner. Landon with a shot. This one goes just wide of the mark. Kept it at the point, however, by a streaking Akers. Akers down to Langenbrunner. Langenbrunner off the crossbar. This one's ringing my ears, and that one somehow stayed out. Beautiful scoring chance there.
That was a good shot. Stayed with it. Missed the net there on the first one, which...
He's got the puck again, and
nice
he hits an
there,
overlapping Gallitz.
Oh, he's got to shoot that.
Good play there from the defender, Henry, to anticipate that he'd be looking to pass this over to Rasmussen. And as a result, no shot even on goal with that rush. But good little broken 3-on-1. They had a good scoring chance there. It's been a great shift for the Lumberjacks, but they were unable to crack the code, just the crossbar.
Yeah, a couple good chances. Feet are moving a little bit better. Some plays being made. Create some opportunity on there.
Langenbrunner's still out. He's got to be tired. Landon gains the zone, but loses the puck, turns this one over to Killian, and Killian comes out the other direction. Here comes O'Neill. O'Neill, 2-on-1 opportunity. Little bit, I was going to say a little bit too far, but I think Vega just kind of ran out of room. He ran into that goal line and just didn't have enough room to finish that play, but you could see they were trying to that little diagonal entry pass to a streaking Vega, and it almost connected. Langenbrunner somehow miraculously still on the ice. Second period, it can be hard to get off when you're defending that goal further from your bench, and he's still out there now working a forecheck. He's out with Galitz and Kettela. Back to the point to Mason. Mason shot takes out Kettela. Kettela's down, and we get a stoppage of play.
Yeah, that one caught him in probably a little bit of a tough area, and good net front screen. Sometimes that's going to happen. It was a decent play through the box and a shot to the net, good screen, but it hit his own guy.
Advertising with Eden Hall Productions is an inexpensive way to reach thousands. For more information, John at EdenHallCo.com. The Minnesota Lizard offer fall midget teams playing at the highest level for 15s, 16U, and 18U. For more information, please visit our website.
I want to thank everybody for watching the opener here from Bloomington Ice Garden, streamed across Youth Hockey Hub. This is John Conley for Eden Hall Productions, joined by Jamie Langenbrunner. He took a puck in a bad spot, like you said. He's still down and he's pounding the ice. It's a little bit of pain here for Kettela. Let's hope Kettela can return to the game. Doesn't look like a serious injury, but it might be a real bad bruise or something that keeps him out for the remainder of this one.
Yeah, I just kind of probably caught him. I think he's a pretty tough kid. I think he'll get to the bench and he'll sort himself out of that. I think just one of those ones that, you wear a lot of equipment in hockey, but sometimes that puck finds a way to sneak its way in between the pads.
So no team wants to start the season 0-2. There's a lot of anticipation. The schedule's been known by the coaches for months, I think dating back to January or February. You've got Shea Walters. He's trailing this one 2-1 as a new coach, but they had a regulation tie yesterday, so I think they could walk out of here if they were to lose this one and say, we got something out of it. On the other bench, this is a great game for St. Thomas. They weren't happy with the result yesterday. They were outshot 44-10 and never really in it against Minnetonka, defending state champs. So if they could walk out of here with the win, they'd be great. Put yourself in their shoes on that bench. What would you be feeling like about if you're their coaches at the midpoint right now? How are things going so far for the Cadets?
Well, I think their opening draw. When you're playing against Minnetonka, defending state champion, you're talking. That's a good measuring stick. Now you're going to have the guys' attention going into the year. Now they move forward and. A team that is coming off of losing some key players and is finding their way, but good stepping stone here to keep on moving forward.
After a brief injury break, we're back to the action. Face-off one to Beaudet. He plays this one D-to-D, and streaking out is Shimmick. Shimmick gains the neutral zone, lofts this one in the direction of the goal, but it's knocked down by the mitt of Mason Langenbrunner. Beaudet gets another opportunity, and a little tipsy dangle. Ill-advised pass from O'Neill. It would be cool the 1 in 100 times that connects, but he actually had 2 white jerseys there to break up the play. Entry drop pass laterally doesn't always connect. Tries a little inside-out move and can't quite get around the defender, but St. Thomas manages to keep the puck. Now it's Christie working with O'Neill together on the forecheck. They're joined by Vega. This one pops out to the blue line and just through the legs of Beaudet. Over to Shimmick, a neutral zone regroup, and very quickly they re-enter the zone. We get a stoppage of play. Penalty upcoming. It's interference on Christie, it looks like.
It came across that blue line and did a little bit of a moving pick on Rasmussen. Probably the right call, one that sometimes gets called, sometimes doesn't if the ref happens to be looking that direction. Christie, pretty veteran player here in high school hockey. Thought he could get away with one.
So back to some of these players, some of these people that have graduated from the schools you're seeing today. With St. Thomas, I was talking about Jim Lang. He was the host of the dating game. So sometimes I'll give a guy a dating game nickname like Marvelous, Mason Langenbrunner, Lovable Landon. Anyway, Vince Flynn, the author. People tell me his books are outstanding. Vince has recently passed away the last few years, but he's around my age, and Vince went to St. Thomas. We'll get back with some of these people as we get deeper into the second period.
I've read a few of his books.
Okay, so Vince went to St. Thomas. Now, Congressman Emmer played hockey in I think in Ivy League school. I know he played hockey for St. Thomas Academy. He's still a U.S. Congressman, if I'm not mistaken. And from Cloquet, chemist Clarence Larson wound up being sent to make bombs as part of the Manhattan Project. If you are young and not familiar, the Manhattan Project was the U.S. Military's, U.S. government's efforts to build the bombs that actually put an end to World War II after they were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. So Clarence Larson, a chemist from Cloquet. And Jamie, this is like honorable mention. It's a person that did not graduate from Cloquet, but reading through Wikipedia, I would say that Barbara Payton, a very colorful life, was the Amanda Bynes or maybe the Lindsay Lohan of her generation, and at some point lived in the town of Cloquet. So anyone that wants a little reading, short reading, pull up the Wikipedia page for the town of Cloquet, click on Barbara Payton, and that's another person from the town of Cloquet. Still a minute to go in this man advantage for Cloquet. They finish up part of a line change, but they've got too many men on the ice right now. We'll see how quickly the referees are able to pick up on this. I caught it right away, and they got away with it.
Good thing for Cloquet, you're not roughing, because that was about as long as you can play with 6 guys and not get caught today. I've seen in a while.
Gallitz goes over to the bench, and the coaches were quite subdued in calling him off, because had they shouted a little louder, I think the linesman was standing right on the bench. But yeah, that was like 8-10 seconds of 6 obvious skaters plus the goaltender, 7 players, and a little bit of a makeup call here as Mason goes off for his second minor penalty of the game.
Yeah, tripping penalty. Missed the puck behind the net and reacted back on it. Definitely a tripping penalty.
All right, so now we'll play 4-on-4 for the next 30 seconds, barring any further penalties. That will then give the St. Thomas Cadets a power play for the next 90 seconds after that. Still 3 minutes 45 seconds to go in the period. 2-1 is your score. That's for the score at the end of one. There's been no goals so far in the second period.
Yeah, no goals. I think from my count, Cloquet's probably had the better of the chances here in this period, but there we go. There's a steal and a goal.
6 seconds after the penalty, it's a goal here for Dayak. Dayak for St. Thomas. He puts the Cadets up 3-1. We'll listen for Robin Cook, the public address announcer, to hear who gets credit for the assist. But boom, that's just a bang-bang play. Dayak gets that one past the goaltender, and now Cloquet trails 3-1. St. Thomas on top.
Yeah, I'd say that one's probably going to be unassisted. Nick Baker falling asleep a little bit with the puck there, gets stripped and goal.
This is a shot that gets knocked down by Henry, pulls this one out to the neutral zone, gains the zone by passing it over to Keelan. Keelan, empty net goal. Keelan takes that pass from Dayak, and it's 4-1.
Well, defensive coverage, not sorting it out, getting caught up and standing in front of your net and watching them.
Keelan had an entirely open goal with that quick puck movement. We've played, 22 seconds since that minor penalty, and 2 goals given up. Not power play goals. These were 4-on-4 goals, and boy, does that ever change the tone of this game. St. Thomas now leads 4-1, and they're about to go on a power play for another 90 seconds.
Yeah, you're saying Cloquet kind of had a little bit of momentum going, and then big shift right there. Big 4-on-4, 2 quick goals, and Cloquet's got to be careful here. Could get ugly.
You had just said that you thought that better scoring chances in this period were coming for the Lumberjacks, a statement I agree with. And what a change in the momentum, where all of a sudden, instead of thinking the next one's going to come from White to tie this game up, now it's a 3-goal margin, and they've got a lot of work to do to dig out of a hole for the Lumberjacks.
Yeah, a team that hasn't shown an ability to score a whole lot of goals here early in the season. It's going to be a number they got to be careful. It's a big kill for them if they want to have any chance of getting back.
Back to the action. Still 70 seconds to go in this man advantage. Nice shot block here from it was Kate Bender, but he had the puck fall into his padding, and he didn't seem to know where it was. Usually you get a whistle in that instance. This time they let him skate for a moment. It fell out, and now they get the clear that they need. That'll run some time off the man advantage. St. Thomas still has 40 seconds to go in this power play, and it's a rink-wide pass. Picked up by O'Neill. He took it from Christie, and he plays this one over in the direction of Vega. Really good about creating some open room in the neutral zone, but I think that was a result of Cloquet being very passive. They didn't try to clog the neutral zone with their PK at all, really just kind of waiting for them with the zone entry.
Yeah, you need to get layers on the penalty kill. It's like one-on-one hockey over there. One guy's kind of standing there and watching. He's getting beat, and opportunities are coming. Credit to St. Thomas for their puck movement, though. They're moving the puck well, jumping into areas, creating some opportunities, and look to be feeling it pretty good and having some fun here with the puck.
They really are moving the puck well right now, and nice tic-tac passing from O'Neill and Bamer and Vega. Out of the penalty box, flying is Mason. Mason can't quite win that race. It goes for icing, and at least now things settle down for the Lumberjacks. They're back to full strength. A goal right now would be huge. They trail by 3, still 99 seconds to go in this period.
Yeah, it's going to be an important minute 40 here, 90 seconds, whatever it is. It's we're getting to a time of the game where, like I said, one more goal against, and it could be pretty well lights out for Cloquet. So it'll be an important last minute and a bit of the period.
And the Lumberjacks got to feel like they've played too well this period to not have something to show for it.
They're going to get another power play here, a little trip there behind the net.
They managed to get the goalie off for the extra skater. Out comes Landon. Nice little evasive move there, but he couldn't come out with the puck as Huta brings this one in. Nice pass here from Akers. Looks like that was just outside the goal. I don't know if he hit the crossbar or if it was just the netting outside.
Yeah, a little play at the net, bounced over to him. He's in a good spot there and got an opportunity.
70 seconds remains in the period. It'll be a power play with that minor penalty being called on Williams. Cloquet's about to go on the power play. And as we're winding it down in the second period, let's go through a couple more people that graduated from St. Thomas. Yesterday I mentioned Tommy Gibbons. He was the past sheriff of Ramsey County, St. Paul area. But before he became sheriff, he once fought Jack Dempsey for the heavyweight championship of the world. So that's kind of an interesting two-pronged career. Got one that's the equal of that. Alfred Grunther went to St. Thomas, graduated, and later became the youngest four-star general in the history of the U.S. Army. When he was done with his military stint, or maybe while he was still in it, he actually wrote some very high-level books about the card game bridge, and a two-pronged career where he was the youngest four-star general and a bridge author. So anyway, back to the action. I always think it's fun to talk about these communities. Big save there by Muzzy. He gets the cover, and still 44 seconds to go in this period. St. Thomas on top 4-1.
Yeah, the power play, when you get shots from the outside, you got to have traffic in front, or goalies at this level, and especially Muzzy, the way he's seeing it, it's going to make that one no problem. So getting traffic for Cloquet there is going to be important.
I want you to stick around between periods if you're watching at home and catch our intermission guest. Muzzy Donahue is the goaltender for St. Thomas. He takes over a pretty tall task. Last year's goaltender, Atticus Kelly, won a lot of postseason awards as the best goaltender in Minnesota. Muzzy steps up, and now it's his goal to protect for St. Thomas. And kind of bittersweet, the other player profiled is Dane Steinhoff. Dane is going to have a great post-high school hockey career. He's a big prospect, about 6'5" defender. Unfortunately, Dane not playing in this game as he got hurt as part of the football season with Esco High, and he is our other guest. So Muzzy Donahue from Jack's Cafe, interviewed by Thomas Odegaard, followed by team manager Thomas Porter interviewing Dane Steinhoff. And I mentioned bittersweet. Jamie, Thomas Porter also not able to play hockey this year. His is concussion related, so two kids that are a big part of the team, big part of the community, but unfortunately not on the ice today.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We talked about it the other day, some of the sad stuff that happens in the game once in a while with the injury there, the Lakeville player there, and those happen, and for those two both to miss out on their senior year, it's tough.
Yeah, all three players we just mentioned are seniors. So nice scoring chance there. Bender, he couldn't quite get that one down to his stick blade in time to shoot it, and that's how the period's going to end. There's a little bit of an overhang power play. 50 seconds remain. So Coach Shea Walters is going to talk them up between periods, and I know first and foremost, they really need to get a goal to cut this margin from 3 to 2 when they come back on the ice for the period 3.
Yeah, I usually don't like to say must scores and power plays, but I think we might want to throw that one in that category at this point of the game.
Good point. He's Jamie Langenbrunner. I'm John Conley here from Bloomington Ice Garden. Enjoy the between period content. We'll be back in about 15 minutes with the exciting conclusion of today's game from the opener.
Hi, I'm Bill Kozlak. Welcome to Jack's Cafe. We've been on this corner in Northeast Minneapolis since 1933. Come join the good times in my bar and restaurant.
So we're here with Muzzy Donahue, goalie for the St. Thomas Academy Cadets. What's your number again?
Number 1.
Number 1. Yeah. Number 1. Okay. We'd like to give a thank you to the Jack's Restaurant Cafe for hosting us. It's just great restaurant, great venue. Really great place to eat if you're ever in Minneapolis.
Great food.
Yep. Okay, so we're going to open it up. We're going to play a game called 2 Lies and a Truth, where you tell me 2 lies and a truth, and I got to choose which one's which, okay?
Here we go. Play the guitar. I know every single Zach Brown Band song, and can do any one. Another one is I'm a scratch golfer. Other than my last one is my best friend's Luke Herzog. There we go. Those are the 3.
Let me get back to that one. I'm not. Let me think about it for a little bit.
Okay. Of course.
Okay. So, Muzzy, well, first off, what's your real name?
My real name's Morgan.
Morgan. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place to vacation to so far?
So far, well, just last weekend actually, I visited New York to drop out my sister at college, and saw the city for the first time, and I really loved it. So I'm gonna have to go with that.
What do you like about it? Big buildings.
Big city.
Big city. You a big city guy?
I am a big city.
Getting T-shirts to say "I love NY."
Fortunately, no.
No, not today.
No, I wish.
How was Times Square treating you? Meeting girls?
It was great. Yeah. I met a couple girls.
Couple girls?
Yeah, a couple girls. Yeah.
Oh, good for you, Muzzy.
Thank you.
What kind of places are you looking to vacation to in the future?
In the future, probably Mexico.
Mexico.
Spring break, maybe. We'll see.
What's going on in Mexico?
Just having fun with my brothers.
You got brothers? How many brothers do you have?
I got a couple brothers, yeah.
Oh, okay. What's their names?
Seamus.
Seamus.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your favorite musical band?
Musical band?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Drake.
Drake?
Yeah.
Drake.
Heard of him?
I've heard of Aubrey Graham. That's his real name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What's your favorite song?
Favorite song? Yosemite, for sure.
Yosemite.
Wait.
I'm pretty sure that's Travis Scott.
That's Travis Scott. My favorite Drake song?
Yeah, it's your favorite artist, isn't it?
Nonstop.
Nonstop?
Yeah.
Can you give me a little beat? You go just a little beat?
I don't got a little beat.
I haven't heard it. My dad took away Apple Music from me last day of school for having a C in math, so you gotta give me a little beat or something. I haven't heard.
I don't got one. I can pull it up right now.
No, I'm talking about like within the vocal cords. You got? How does it go? How does it start off?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh, you couldn't tell me. Okay. So what's your?
Wait. I also like fist pumping EDM though.
Fist pumping EDM.
Like another artist is like 2 Dubs. One of my favorites.
Okay. Yeah. What is that? What kind of platform is that on? SoundCloud?
SoundCloud, yeah.
SoundCloud, okay.
Never met him, but
okay.
Seems like a good dude.
Next question. Who's your celebrity crush?
Blake Lively.
Blake Lively. What color hair does she have?
Blonde.
You're into blondes now? That's a change.
I don't know. It's yeah.
Blondes?
Yeah.
What line would you do to pick up on her if you see her at a restaurant? If you see her,
what kind of question is that?
If I'm just hypothetically, if you see Blake Lively at a restaurant, you got one chance to wow her with a pickup line. What are you saying to her?
What's up, babe?
Sup, babe?
Yeah.
That's a go-to, right?
You think so?
I think that would work. I mean, you guys could be a cute couple.
Yeah.
If you had to choose one historical figure in like life for somebody that you look up to, who would you look to? Wayne Gretzky, hockey guy? Like, what are we thinking? Golf legend? Napoleon.
Yep.
What do you like about him?
He's a beauty.
He's a beauty.
Yeah. Mr. Hoverson, he taught me about him in history, and great guy.
Strong? Is that your strong subject, history?
No, it's not.
What were you thinking, math? Is your strong subject?
Math, yeah.
Math for sure.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Here we are in the Cosmopolitan Room at Jack's Cafe, where we hold private events, weddings, corporate functions, groups of 100 to 275. We've even hosted Herb Brooks and many of the great hockey players on the 1980 Olympic hockey team, as well as hosted every Gopher National Championship team year-end banquet. We would look forward to booking your banquet soon.
So Odie, back to these
he's trying to turn the
two lies and a truth. Like, what do you think? I said I was a scratch golfer, play the guitar, and best friends with Luke Herzog.
I think the truth is, I mean, I've hit the links with you a couple times. You're a pretty skilled golfer.
I think so.
I think that's the truth about the golf. Okay. That's one. You are pretty close to Luke Herzog, so that could be another one, but
yeah, it could be.
It could be. That's a really good option. Luke Herzog, you and him.
I don't know. I don't know how I'm
feeling. But then also, I think, if I remember, I think you took class. I think you took a guitar class one year at St. Thomas, but so I'd say the lie is the Luke Herzog's my best friend one. And tell me if I'm right or wrong.
You're right.
Oh,
for sure.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah. All right. Well. We're signing off at the Jacks. Thanks for tuning in. #1 goalie, Morgan Donahue. Looking forward for a big year with him.
Thanks to Jack's Cafe.
Thanks to Jack's Cafe.
Great venue.
Great venue.
Minnesota's hockey culture is one of, if not the best in America, so it's only fitting that one of the best hockey camps in the world is right here in Nisswa.
This is Dan Germanson. Welcome to Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer based in Nisswa, Minnesota in the beautiful Brainerd Lakes area. At MHC, there is a culture that breeds success. We offer resident and day camps for boys and girls of all ages from mites to NHL, 9 weeks throughout the summer.
We've had probably 700 NHLers come through here.
We have 32 hockey-related activities per week. Over the years, we have had close to 400 professional players come through our camp, including Division I, Stanley Cup, and Olympic champions.
I'm a little surprised that this camp is still here. To be honest with you, we thought it would be about a 20-year run, and it actually got better.
Visit our website at mnhockeycamps.com. Registration opens January 1st for 2019.
Hi, I'm Dane Steinhoff, and we're at the Buffalo House. It's been established since 1972 by my grandfather, and if you're ever in Cloquet or Duluth or Esco, swing by and get a good meal.
Hey guys, this is Thomas Porter, and we're here at the Buffalo House Dining Hall with Dane Steinhoff. And Dane, you know the routine, so we're gonna do 2 lies and a truth. So, what?
All right, my first one is I broke my arm in middle school falling off the monkey bars. My next one is I was supposed to have a twin brother, and my last one is I played the flute in middle school.
Okay, those are all very, very interesting. But we're going to come back to that, and I'm going to ask you a different one. Dane, what is your favorite vacation spot?
I mean, I'd have to say probably somewhere out west, like Colorado. I like all the, pretty views, kind of just the wilderness.
Well, I mean, why? Like, what's wrong with the Buffalo House? What's wrong with Cloquet?
I mean, I do love this place, but it just doesn't have everything,
What do you mean? It's got wings, it's got fries? How doesn't it have everything?
You're making me rethink here. I might have to stick with the Buffalo House here in Duluth.
I'm just saying. Everybody, Buffalo House, Duluth, Minnesota. Try it. But Dane, what's your favorite genre of music?
I like, the, culture with like Migos and like some of that rap, but I also, like a soft side. I like going to the 80s, kind of like mellowing out. It's just like Africa by Toto.
Definitely.
That's a banger. Yeah.
Would you want to try singing Africa? That's a classic. Everybody knows the words.
I don't know. I don't think the acoustics are very good in here. They won't really, give justice to the song.
You don't want to give it a try?
No, thank you.
All right. Well, Dane, what's your celebrity crush?
I'm gonna have to go with Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. She's a smoke.
All right. Well, what do you think you would say to her if you saw her at the Buffalo House, for instance? What would you say to her?
I would first off, I'd say nice to meet you, and then I would, offer to pay for a meal. She'd probably decline because she got a lot of money, probably,
Yeah.
But I'd probably just want to hug her because I don't think words could describe how I'm feeling. Just a nice, gentle embrace.
Nice, gentle embrace. Well, that is something that is lacking in today's society, just a nice, gentle embrace. But,
I totally agree.
That's going to get you a second date, Dane. Well, tell me, what's the best thing about Esco girls, since I know you're from Esco?
I mean, you're from Cloquet, and, they're all right. They're all right. Not bad. But Esco girls, they are they're on a whole nother level. They are so good looking. It's like, oof. That's all I can say.
You guys are like a farm town of like 500 people. How could they be that beautiful?
We just produce some beauties. What can I say? Just some tens.
I suppose. Well, we're gonna go on a little eating break, and we'll be back in a little bit. Buffalo House from our little eating break. And Dane, what were your 2 lies and a truth?
My first one was that I broke my arm falling off the monkey bars. My second one was I was supposed to have a twin brother. And my third one was I played the flute in middle school.
All right. Well, those are all really difficult and very outgoing. I'm gonna have to go with the flute as your truth.
No, it's actually, I'm supposed to have a twin brother.
Really?
Yeah. All the boys, they like to make jokes about how I ate them because I'm a pretty big guy. But
how tall are you?
I'm about 6'5", 6'6".
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very tall. That's very tall.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's where we're going to wrap it up today with Dane Steinhoff at the Buffalo House. So, thank you.
Back. So Jamie Langenbrunner here with John Connolly. So Jamie, Shea Walters goes in the locker room, and I can only imagine it's, hey, we're going to start this period with a power play. Let's come out. Let's get one on the board quickly. Let's get back in this game. We trail 4-1. We're going to use this momentum and an early goal to get back in it. What happens if they don't? How do you get this 3-goal? You got to whittle away at it. They really need to get scoring early and often.
Yeah, it's a couple chances there, I guess, late on that power play, but I think you can use maybe a little of St. Thomas's formula. They scored 2 quick goals there in the first and 2 quick goals there in the second. So, anything can happen in high school hockey in a short period of time, and hopefully. For Cloquet's sake, they'll do that. Obviously St. Thomas is a big PK where you can kind of put your footprint on the game here a little bit.
That's right about the goals for St. Thomas coming in rapid succession. Both of them were bang-bang, I think, in less than a minute between the 2 goals that they had in the first and then late in the second. So you're absolutely right about that. 17 minutes goes back up on the board. 50 seconds remaining of power play time. I see Landon, Rasmussen, I see Mason, and they bring out Bender. They don't have Gallets. They bring out, is that Ketela?
I think it's Aaron Moore.
Moore, okay.
Is the last one on that unit, yeah.
Yep, so Moore it's Moore, Bender, and Landon, Rasmussen. Just one player listed as a defenseman. That's Mason out 27. Puck is won. Rasmussen plays Mason, and they've got about 45 seconds now where they're trying to gain the zone and set up a good scoring chance here with the remnants of the late penalty power play situation. In comes Landon. Landon with a pass over to Moore, and that one took a tip and was headed toward the 5-hole of Donahue, but Donahue's been standing tall throughout this game, and big save there. Rebound opportunity, trying to get a dirty goal, and eventually he gets the cover.
Yeah, good play thrown into the net. They had some traffic there at the net. Decent play off the rush on the entry. Good play by Moore to find Lanning to go into the net with a good deflection. 2 big saves. Good save. I said Donahue's been big when he's needed to, covering up the rebounds. Not a whole lot of second opportunities.
So Donahue was part of our between period interview, and for those that watched, you saw it. For those that didn't, also an outstanding golfer. Might even have more potential to play college sports as a golfer than as a goaltender, and he's an outstanding goaltender, so he's a great golfer as well. Still 5 seconds to go in this man advantage. Langenbrunner with a shot. This one's into the mitt of Donahue. Face-off comes to his left. 4 seconds to go in the power play.
That's the thing about some of these kids in hockey. You know, some of them hockey's their main sport. Some of them it's their winter sports. You know, there's some. I know on the Cloquet team, the Baker brothers are both extremely good baseball players. They're good golfers, like you said with Donahue. Like these kids are multi-sport athletes, and that's one of the draws of Minnesota hockey. Is you have those other opportunities.
And you and I are speaking from a position of familiarity. I was vice president of the USA Hockey affiliate in Florida, lived there a long time. Coming up the middle, it's Hallam. Hallam, the last pass over to streaking Williams. Williams has really been impressive thus far. I think he's often in the depth chart as a defender, but he's been playing forward this weekend. He's looked very, very good. Big hit here and a nice defensive play from Shimmick. Shimmick's engaged in a little battle right in front of us with John Baker.
Yeah, good young sophomore there, lad Hallam. He's got some talent. Kid that can play both ends of the ice. You know, probably can go play a little D once in a while too.
Entering the zone, trying to cut over to his forehand is Shimmick, but unable to get the shot off. Now it's a play in front of the net, spinning move from Soderling. Throws this one wide. Puck bounces behind the goal line, and St. Thomas able to establish their forecheck. Has a little bit of zone time. Short-lived, however. Well, maybe not. Short-lived, however, as they eventually cede the puck, and out come the Lumberjacks to the neutral zone. Entering to Ketela. Ketela fights a battle 4-on-4 there with Shimmick, both number 4. And he gets the puck to net, but it's covered up by Donahue, and now the boys are exchanging their gamer handles so they can play Fortnite later.
Yeah, the beauty of hockey once in a while, right? The little chirping and talking, and you'll see after the game they'll probably be sitting there talking and figuring out where they're going to go hang out afterwards. It's closeness of Minnesota hockey.
Hi, this is Dan Johnson from Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer and would love to have you be a part of 2019. Check out MinnesotaHockeyCamps.com for more information.
Face-off is won by Cloquet. They take a little snap at it, but the puck was bouncing, so they're unable to get it to goal. Gives St. Thomas an opportunity to break it out. They get in front of the benches where they're stood up by Nordin. Oh, up through the middle, streaking in as more kind of came through there like a skier through the gates, knocking down the gates as he went through, but lost the puck in the process. And as we were talking about, this period starts. It was very important for Cloquet to get off to a good start. They had some chances on the power play, but didn't get the goal. Now, Jamie, they trail by 3 with just 14 and a half minutes to go, and it's 5-on-5.
Yeah, now the clock begins to be a bit of an issue. You know, now you're down to about 1 every 5 minutes to get it back to even. So your margin for error is getting smaller and smaller.
Nice pass out front. And on the weak side, it's Landon banging that one home. A huge goal for Landon Langenbrunner. Nice puck movement down low. It came from Galatz and Baker, right?
Yeah, Galatz and Baker. Good, missed a pass in the defensive zone by the St. Thomas defense. A little turnover. Galatz quick to jump on it, and then Landon coming off the change, puck finds him in the right spot, and he made no mistake with that one.
Well, that was huge. Landon Langenbrunner's on the board. His first goal of the game, first of the season, right? He did not have a goal yesterday.
No, I think he had a couple assists, but no goals.
The apples yesterday, and so he's got an assist earlier, and now a goal, a little payback. Galatz assisting on that one, so both Landon and Galatz have 1 goal, 1 assist. Second assist, I think, is going to go to John Baker.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, those two have seemed to find some early chemistry. Obviously, they've never played together with Galatz being a sophomore, Landon being a senior, but they seem to read off each other pretty well, and two guys that I think the game pretty well.
They read this one off as Landon from Galatz and Nordine. I think it was 8, Baker, right?
It was definitely Baker. Nordine's a defenseman. He wasn't down in front of the net on that one.
He was out, I think, the shift before. Maybe they're still on the ice for that shift. But I think we're going to self-correct that one. You can go back and watch this one, but we believe it's Landon from Galatz, and John Baker makes this one 4-2, and that's a huge goal, Jamie. They were down 3 goals, and I think that was misleading. I don't think that they were getting outclassed in any way. It's a huge goal, but a little bit of momentum goes away here as there's a minor penalty that's been called. Schmitz goes off for the Lumberjacks.
Yeah, it's tough. You get your fourth line out there to create some energy, and a penalty is called, which hurts, but now a chance for St. Thomas on the PP to get that 3-goal lead in.
Stepping into the face-off circle is Rasmussen, but it's won by the Cadets. They work this one back to the point at Vamer. Robin Cook is the public address announcer. Robin's getting quite a reputation in the Twin Cities. No expense spared here for Youth Hockey Hub at the opener tournament. St. Thomas working the perimeter nicely, but they end up, they end up taking the shot on goal, and it's steered aside easily by Carlson. A little bit of a hectic moment there from Nick Baker as he almost misplayed it toward his own goal, Jamie.
Yeah, there's being calm in areas, and then there's being urgent, and I think he needs to find a little more urgency in that situation. A little dangerous, but you talk about Youth Hockey Hub, what a great job they've done of promoting youth hockey, and no budget. They probably don't have a budget anymore. They're getting so big, right?
Yeah, so this game, I've actually worked with them. I've bought the broadcast rights for the event, but he is responsible for putting on the event and paying people like Robin Cook. But if you're here in person, you've heard him. If you've seen a lot of the Edina youth tournaments, you've heard him. Robin Cook, outstanding public address announcer. And he is the one. Oh, that one got through the net. That one got through the wickets into the net, but the play had been blown dead. The goalie, Carlson, never really had it covered. And whistle saves the Lumberjacks from falling behind by yet another goal.
Yeah, I think probably a little fortunate there. They got the quick whistle. Sometimes, the ref, especially that down low ref from that far angle, has a hard time seeing those. And they seem to err on the side of safety and caution. And I guess as long as it's the same both end, nobody's going to have an issue with that.
So when I was a kid, it was Let's Play Hockey. And Bob Utek had a TV show. You could go into the rink and find the newspaper when you played. It's still around. Yeah. But Tony Scott has New Age Youth Hockey Hub. I think is some similar business, but different channels. And actually, between games today, I'm interviewing him, and that interview will run over the Christmas tournament between period. So anyway, kind of teasing something that's coming up in a month during the Hockey for Life tournament. But it'll be a feature profile, kind of a look under the hood, if you will. People can learn a little bit more about Youth Hockey Hub, how it started, what they're working on, and what they can expect in the future. Hallam gains the zone and takes a shot. This one's deflected off the stick of Akers, and chance for the Lumberjacks to kill the balance of this penalty. There's just 5 seconds to go in the penalty. Rasmussen lost his stick, played it like a soccer player, and it's Landon with a chance to get one. It's into the net. 4-3 is your score on 2 quick goals by Landon Langenbrunner. This one, it's almost shorthanded. It's technically a even strength goal, but it is just moments after the penalty expired. Proud dad standing next to me. Cloquet makes this one 3-4.
Yeah, good play by Gavin Rasmussen. No stick. He didn't quit on the play. Went and won the race, kicked it up to Landon. Landon, good job on the rush to protect the puck. And I think Donnie made the first stop, and he stuck with it and knocked it into the empty net. Good play.
Wow, did that change things in a hurry? You called it. You said that St. Thomas got their 2 goals in the first and their 2 goals in the second in rapid succession. And what might happen for Cloquet would be 2 goals, bang, bang. It's exactly what's happened, and all of a sudden, we've got a whole new ball game. Still 11 minutes, 30 seconds to go, and it's 4-3. This one's anybody's ball game.
Yeah, big save there by Owen Carlson there on a point-blank shot. Turnover in front of the net on a little bit of a broken play.
Wowza, this is exciting. Langenbrunner plays this one over to Galatz. Galatz chips this one in, and they go off for the line change. All right, so the public address, Robin Cook reads this one off as Rasmussen with the only assist. entering the zone at Senek. Senek plays this one up ahead to Huta, and all of a sudden we're seeing some new names out to start the period with the penalty kill, and then that shift with Langenbrunner getting a couple goals. You know, we didn't get too far in the depth charts, and Cloquet has managed to make this one a lot more interesting. They only trail 4-3.
Yeah, like you said, 2 big goals. It seems like all of our goals have been in quick order here. So, you know, for our sake, I hope this continues with the goals going back and forth and the excitement. But it turns now into a good final 11 minutes here in this game.
My phone keeps going nuts over here. 17-0 is your score as the Gophers lead the Badgers, and I don't know that anybody saw that one coming. It's still first half, but we'll see if they're able to close this one out. Back to the hockey action here. It's a nice pass over to Nordin. He circles back behind the goal and plays this one to Anderson. Anderson gets stuck in the corner working against a forechecking Keelan. Manages to get the nice pass off to Kettela. Kettela plays this up ahead to Senek. Now they're working in front of the benches all the way to Huda. Kind of a textbook breakout right there. Everybody touched it and they brought it up ice almost seamlessly. Yeah, the little short 5-6 foot passes with good support. It's usually a good way to break the puck out. You know, like good post support and short puck movement gets you out quickly, and usually is very successful. Some teams have trouble doing it in practice with no opposition. Here they're able to do it with 5 blue jerseys out there. So there's a lot of takeaways for all 4 teams that I've seen so far. A lot of positives. You know, you might not win both games, but these teams are going to be definite factors in the postseason. I wouldn't be surprised to see all 4 of them make it to excel in March. I think you said it's early in the year. There's a lot of things that are going to change. You got sophomores playing first games. You got coaches in new situations. You got people figuring out roles. You know, just a little bit of an eye opener, and you go from there. Dayak had a goal and an assist on an earlier shift in the second period. He almost got one there. He took a little whack at it. The puck was fluttering like a butterfly toward the goal, and Carlson managed to get just enough of it to keep it outside that post. But it looked like it could have easily bounced off of him and went in. Nonetheless, St. Thomas does not score. They now lead 4-3, and we've still got 9 minutes 25 seconds remaining in this one. Yeah, it's been around the puck a lot. He's had a nice game today. He's been a factor. Dumped in, and in pursuit is Bender. Bender works against Wingus and battling along the boards. It pops out to the point to Mason. Mason plays it D to D over to Akers. Akers' shot gets knocked down. It comes right back to him. A little snapper. This one. Ooh, that one was, he was benefiting from a triple screen. The goalie was never going to see it. Looked like it was tracking toward the goal, hit a body, and just went just wide of the mark. Yeah, found its way through. Good shot. You know, shots on goal are good. From both teams, you're seeing throwing them up from some odd angles and creating some traffic. Guys going to the net. You know, it's sometimes what you need to do once in a while. Hallam came in and took a shot and then wound up tracking the puck all the way back out to the neutral zone where he worked with Wingus to regain possession. This one squirts away from everybody, but it gets deflected, so there's no icing call. On retreat, this is Akers. Akers' long stretch pass in the direction of Baker, but it got tipped away and wound up onto Landon's stick. Landon's got 2 goals in quick succession, working on that pure hat trick if he could get one more. Like father, like son. Is this bringing back any memories, Jamie? No, he scores more than I did. I think I was more of a passer in high school. I was fortunate to have wingers that knew how to score goals, so I got to do the easy thing, just go skate around and find them. This pass is bouncing off of the stick of Baker. He chases it down into the corner. So you must have had a finisher, though, if you're going to get assists. You know, it's not a great thing if you're the playmaker and you don't have guys that can bury it. So those guys that can finish are big, important ones. I'd say like a Bob Joyce to a Tony Herkus, dating myself a little bit here. You know, you need those guys to get the finish, or you never get the credit for the assists. Well, you're not dating yourself that much. I had the pleasure of playing with Tony Herkus in my stint in Dallas, and still see him from time to time. He's a pro scout for Tampa Bay now, and the Herkus Circus, you talk about guys that could put up points. Wow, he was a special college player and obviously a good pro too. If the line would have been Connolly, Herkus, and Joyce, I bet Bob Joyce would have had about 20 goals that season. As it was, I think he had 46 or 44. It's a record that still stands. I've played adult hockey against Bob Joyce. We've got a couple NHL guys that played in our league down in Orlando. One of them played a few games with San Jose named Bruce Eakin. His nephew Dallas plays in the NHL. But Bob Joyce, my gosh, you know, if you're kind of wondering the difference, we had Dave Gaverty played goal for the Kings for 5 games over the course of 3 seasons. And, you know, if you're wondering the difference between like a really good adult hockey player and a guy that's legitimately good like Bob Joyce, or Dave Gaverty, like, wowza, holy cow. Bob was in the minor league, or in the professional leagues in the NHL and got punched in the throat. And as a result, he has a squeaky voice now. And you talk to him, he doesn't seem like he's a big, tough guy, but holy cow, is he strong. Yeah, he was back in the era where there was a little more fighting, and somebody just caught him right in the larynx. His voice never recovered, but great guy, and he trains pilots now at a flight school in Daytona. So he is a longtime Florida resident. And anyway, one of those guys that Berries at Hercus would not have put up, probably, what did he have that season, 90 points? 100 points in college, something like that?
Oh, he had, I think he was in the hundreds.
100, yeah.
Right.
100, yeah.
100 and change maybe. It was some number that was just astronomical from today's game. Obviously, it was a little bit different then, but still.
Yeah, he won the Hobie, and good rebound opportunity. They're trying to get Christie there with a pass off the pads on the weak side. But to put that number in perspective, my color commentator coming in for tonight's game, Tim Hannes, I think it was 176, 172, something like that, points at St. Cloud. Huge, huge numbers. And we're talking about a guy that had 100 in a season. That's like Aaron Broughton or video game numbers.
Oh, that's craziness, isn't it?
Back to the action. 6 minutes and 25 seconds to go. We have an outstanding game for you. It was once 4-1 St. Thomas. It's now 4-3. Cloquet has cut the margin on 2 goals by Landon Langenbrunner. Out to the neutral zone. This one's dumped in by Akers. Behind the goal, playing it is Donahue. They break it out over in front of the benches, but to the blue line, not out, as Akers is standing tall. Works it up to Senek. Senek fights the battle, and eventually it squirts out. Dayek, who's had a great game so far, gets to the neutral zone and gaining the attacking zone, but a little bit offside. Everybody has to tag up as Henry had creeped in just ahead of the play. On retreat, this is Shimmick, goes for icing. So I want to ask everybody to stick around at the end of this game. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break. Jamie's going to jot down some final thoughts, and he's going to nominate some players that he thought were outstanding difference makers in today's game. And that's going to be used by me and my partner Tim Hannes for the later game today when we name an all-tournament team, the Watching Puck all-tournament team for the opener, as well as a Bright Futures, Bright Young Stars list of sophomores and even a freshman that have impressed this weekend at the opener. Beautiful scoring chance here down low. That pass came off from Bender, and looks like they've drawn a penalty in the process, but real good play there. I think Lumberjacks aren't too far away from maybe getting an equalizer.
Yeah, good play off the rush. Johnny Baker took a pretty big hit high there right on the wall, stepping up the D, caught him 2-on-1, and good battle to the net. You get his opportunity to the net. Good work.
Shimmick goes off. Shimmick goes off for roughing. I believe it's a sibling. Now, I'm not totally familiar with the family. Don't hold me to it. But Minnesota has a independent midget team called Gentry Galaxy that plays #1 ranked 15-year-old team in the country. They've got a couple brothers coming to the University of Minnesota named Lucius, but there's a third player on there. There's more than 3. There's another player on that team that's outstanding named Shimmick. I believe it's his brother, but that's another forward coming up through the ranks in Minnesota who's just an outstanding hockey player as well. Shot off the pass here from Langenbrunner. He's trying to get that hat trick and tie the game. They have a power play for the next minute and 45 seconds. Here comes Bender into the corner, fights a battle with Bodette. Bender pops out with the puck and sets up on the half wall, dumps it down behind the end line. It comes right back to him. Bender finds Mason. Mason with a pass. Bender is a magnet over there. They can't seem to get the puck to anybody else. This time they play it over a weak side in our direction, and now it's Landon in the corner fighting a battle. Landon walks it out top, tries a pass give back to Moore, and Moore fights a battle with Bodette down in the corner. Landon plays this one back to Mason. That hit a skate boot and deflected right into Donahue.
Yeah, good positioning by Donahue there. Hits him in the chest. Sometimes goaltending's about positioning more than talent. That was a good job of getting yourself in the right spot and then hitting you.
Landon ticks this one over to Huta. Huta takes it behind the goal line. We've still got 50 seconds remaining in this power play. Landon walks it through Gretzky's office. Plays this one to Rasmussen. His shot doesn't miss by much. Went low far corner. Kept in and the play continues. Down behind the goal line, it's Moore. Moore trying to get it into that dirty zone to Huta. Played back to the point. This is Rasmussen. Over to Langenbrunner. Down to the other Langenbrunner. Landon surveys the situation. Back to Mason. Mason's shot gets tipped just over the crossbar. Landon pass back against the grain over to Moore. Moore plays this one over to Huta. Down into the corner, this is Rasmussen. Rasmussen, eventually it finally pops out. Some good zone time on this power play, and that's how the power play opportunity ends, but a lot of pressure there from Cloquet. Both teams full strength, 3.5 minutes to go out to the neutral zone. Here comes Baker. Baker takes it down into the corner, fights a battle with Shimmick. They pop the puck out to Henry, whose rink-wide pass is just a little bit too far for Soderling, but it does manage to clear the zone. Right back in, end-to-end hockey here. This is a shot taken and glove save on the rebound from Donahue. Kettle got a good shot to goal there. Still 3:12 remaining.
Yeah, good play and quick transition, catching St. Thomas in a bit of the chains. Quick play off the rush, and good job by Donahue to smother the rebound there, not allow a second chance.
So we've got 3 minutes, 12 seconds remaining. There's a few things you can do late in the game to try to get the goal that you need. They obviously can pull the goalie a little bit later. They can keep some fresh personnel out by using a timeout and getting a minute stoppage. I think that Shea Walters is going to be, using those as some of the go-to moves. Jamie, what else can the Lumberjacks do to try to get that elusive goal and tie this game?
Well, I think, a big thing late in games is don't be afraid to make a shot. Shoot from anywhere. Shots on net are a good thing at this time of the game, and getting guys to the front of the net. It's gonna get to a spot where it's gonna probably be an ugly one or one that's gonna come off of a rebound. Donahue's played too well, and nothing's really beating him from any distance. So it's gonna be something in those sort of guards.
And they probably don't want to turn the puck over by putting it on Keelan's tape at the blue line like they did just there.
Yeah,
that stray exit pass is not a good idea to hit a guy standing right there with a little bit of room.
I've yet to see one of those work very well.
Credit St. Thomas for locking it down there now in a protect mode. He was a third forward, F3 in coach speak, if you will. Third forward was very, very high out to the blue line and clogging that passing lane and made it hard for Cloquet exit pass. So we'll watch to see what the Vanellis are doing on the St. Thomas side as they try to nurse a 4-3 lead. Still 2 minutes, 34 seconds remaining. We're facing it off right at center ice.
Looks like we got a timeout.
Timeout has been called, and that's not a surprise. It can help you rest your players, but the downside is it can also rest the other team's players, so it'll be interesting to see how they come out of this timeout and what personnel they put on the ice.
Yeah, a bit of a interesting time for me. It looks like they had their first line out there, and I think an opportunity, 2.5 minutes left, I guess, to get them fresh. They're coming off a power play, needed probably a little more rest, but I think you just, for St. Thomas, looks like they're talking about a team that lots of good structure to their game, and this is some of the stuff that the Vanellis are known for, is teaching these guys how to play and close down games at the end, and I think they'll just go through a few fine-tuning there for them.
So about these two programs, St. Thomas has upped their game to the AA level after winning multiple Class A state championships. They've been the consolation champions 3 times, and look with this group to see if they can maybe go a little bit further and maybe get a different trophy at the state tournament. On the Cloquet side, it's been some time since they've been to the state tournament, but this is their best team in years. So as a Cloquet follower, as a Cloquet graduate, as a Cloquet player parent, what are your takeaways from this weekend based on what you've seen in these 2 games for the Lumberjacks' future?
Well, they've shown flashes. This is a group that at the youth levels has played in multiple state tournaments. So, they've played with the big boys for a while. And, this is some sorting out time for the coaching staff, a new coach this year. Some new guys into the mix and trying to figure it out. They're going to have a tough road. It's a tough section, Section 7 with Duluth East and Andover and Elk River. It's a very deep section. So, but there's some encouraging signs. They've shown some flashes, but they got a ways to go yet.
Section 7 is the group of death this year. There's no question that's going to be just a battle to get to St. Paul. St. Thomas comes out with Vega, Christie, and O'Neill. Cloquet counters with Galatz, Landon, and Rasmussen. It's actually Galatz that hits a streaking Mason getting up into the play, and Mason fights a battle down to the corner, but it's thrown the length of the ice. We get an icing call. 2:03 remains in the third period.
Yeah, good play off the rush. Another quick transition off of a turnover. I think we'll start to look, Coach Walters, to see when the goalie will be pulled. It's getting close to that time, we would think, but off its own face-off opportunity here.
I was going to ask you about that. I know the conventional wisdom back in my playing days was really more the minute mark, and then certainly it's funny, it comes from a goalie, Patrick Roy, really stretching the envelope 4 and even 5 minutes. I've watched a lot of games. You watch a lot of games at very, very high levels. I'm the world's foremost authority on midget hockey after probably announcing 60 games already, 70 games already this year. Is how I've positioned myself. I think the key is getting him out when the puck is down in the attacking end. So a set face-off like this, if you get him out, it can help you keep the attacking zone. If you wait and then you get the puck down in your own end, then you can never get him out. So I'd like to see him, minute 43, I'd like to see Coach Shea from Cloquet pull him off sooner rather than later now that they have got the zone. And sure enough, that's what he did.
Well, I think you talked about Patrick Law and I guess the evolution of pulling the goalie, especially at the professional level, is in the last minute you're going to get the best set of defense and the best guys to kill a game. So it's very difficult. They're used to killing those things off. At the 3.5 minute mark, you might not be getting that number one pair and that number one thing. You're giving yourself a little bit of a better opportunity. So I think that's where it's coming. It's coming from an analytic standpoint. A lot of the changes in hockey are, and it's something you've seen with some pretty high success at the upper levels at that 3 minute mark or so of pulling the goalie.
The key when you're in the attacking zone is, from everything I've seen watching a lot of hockey in the last decade, is you really have to kind of go positionless and get guys to understand if you're anywhere near the puck, we need 2 and 3 guys on the puck. That's how you can keep the puck in the attacking zone and generate those scoring chances. There should be nobody standing around watching the play once you gain the zone. So we'll see if Cloquet can get the goaltender back out. They had to put him back in on the faceoff. Puck is on the stick of Mason in the neutral zone. Plays it up ahead to his brother Landon, who chips this one down. Goaltender comes to the bench, and out comes Bender one more time as that 6th attacker. It bobbles past him, 70 seconds to go in this game. Akers on retreat, chips this out to the neutral zone. The goaltender is out of the net for the Lumberjacks. St. Thomas gains possession. It's O'Neill with a chance. He's got the goal in his sights and couldn't find a way to get it there. He wound it up and it kind of drifted off into the corner, icing the call.
Yeah, that'd be another thing that's maybe changed a little bit in our day. You would never think of icing it. You would try chipping it out and going now. Now the kids definitely take the shot for the net a little more on the icing situations. And I don't know. I guess it's pounded into my head not to do that, but I see the value in it.
Personnel remains the same. It's Bender out as the 6th attacker. Gallitz, Rasmussen, and Landon across the point. Akers and Mason. Face-off is won ultimately by the Lumberjacks, and it's a play by Gallitz trying to throw it in the direction of Langenbrunner. This one bobbles off to the corner, and it's Bender. Bender out of the corner, chips this one down in Gretzky's office. A little bit too far for Gallitz and played back to the blue line. A pinching Mason couldn't keep it in, and it's an empty net goal. Vega puts the insurance goal past. Just a little tick as he wins the foot race. Vega makes this one 5-3 St. Thomas.
Yeah, good work by Vega to skate hard, beat Andy Akers to the puck, and situation. Cloquet had some looks on it and didn't finish, and St. Thomas held strong. Good wall play to get the puck out and to finish off the game.
35 seconds to go in this one. I mentioned it many times throughout the game. I think all 4 teams have a lot they can take away from this weekend. Coach Shea looks at his group and says we had a regulation tie yesterday against a team that's likely to reach the state tournament. That's a good sign. Today they were backs against the wall, had fallen down 4-1. Actually made quite a game of it with an outstanding third period. Even had the goalie pulled with a chance to tie before it kind of slithered away from them. So I think a lot of positives here for Cloquet in a losing effort. And then on the flip side, St. Thomas didn't like the way yesterday's game went. And they're going to walk out of here with a win today. A great bounce back on a short turnaround as they're going to win. 5-3 is the score right now. Just 11 seconds to go.
Yeah, definitely a quick turnaround going from that evening game to an afternoon game. And, it's a lot to be gained by that. A lot of positives for them. Played a very sound hockey game. Handled a quick spurge by Cloquet there in the third to get one, and then like I said, good defensive play late in the game, made a play to end it.
The goaltender comes back out, Face-off is won. Landon tries to take it up through the middle. It's chipped out to the neutral zone. 5 seconds to go, and Akers has to pull this one off the goal line, and that's how things are going to end here from Bloomington Ice Garden. We're going to take a quick break for 2 minutes and then come back. Final post-game thoughts from our color commentator, Jamie Langenbrunner. He's going to nominate a few players that are under consideration for the All-Tournament and the Bright Futures team that we'll be naming after tonight's final game.
I know. You've thought about it, you've talked to some friends, you've even seen golf books like this, and you've said, I'd love to go take an Irish golf trip, but you've never gotten around to it. Or maybe you've been once and you'd like to go back. This is your opportunity. Just let me take care of the details. We'll go over summer 2019 and have a great time. Ireland is just a great place to visit. I've been there 5 times. I call it the 51st state. It's got a lot of things that are notable. Certainly the culture, the history, the scenery, and oh yeah, the golf. But what really separates it from other vacation destinations are the people. If you'd like to take an affordable 1-week trip, play some great golf, and really experience all that the Emerald Isle has to offer, just get in touch with me. We'll go through the planning stages together as the final details get nailed down. In summer of 2019, it's your opportunity to take advantage of this very affordable, reasonable golf trip and play outstanding world-class golf and enjoy what I think is good of vacation places you'll find anywhere in the world. For more information, just go to my website, which is EdenHallCo.com, click on tours, and to be included in upcoming communication as the final details are nailed down, just send me an email, john@EdenHallCo.com.
Talk about Atlantis, out lost beneath the sea. And the grave of the
Hockey fans, I hope you've enjoyed today's game and you've enjoyed Eden Hall Productions' presentation. We're not done yet. 12 games coming up at Hockey for Life between Christmas and New Year's, the top high school Christmas event in the state of hockey this winter. It's a wonderful opportunity for advertisers to reach a hockey-passionate and community-focused demographic. For more information, just check out my website. You can email me at john@EdenHallCo.com. Plenty of different packages available at all different price levels. Very, very affordable way to reach thousands of people. Collectively, the 16 Eden Hall Productions games in conjunction with Youth Hockey Hub will reach an audience of about 30,000 people.
We are back. This is the post-game show from Game 3 of the opener. It was a great game. Final score, 5-3. St. Thomas over Cloquet with that empty net goal. So, Jamie, we had a great hockey game. It was one that entered the third period. Looked like it might have been a yawner if Cloquet couldn't pull back in it, but they did. So what were the keys for the St. Thomas victory, and who do you think was one of the standouts or a few of the standouts for Cloquet? Because those are the players that are under consideration for the all-tournament team and the Bright Futures list of underclassmen we'll be mentioning after tonight's late game.
Well, for me, I'll go with the losing team, Cloquet first. I think Galatz and Landon Langenbrunner had 2 good games. I think they both figured in all the goals scored, and I think they figured in all the goals scored on the weekend. So, I mean, those 2 seem to be the driving force right now for the offense for Cloquet. The back end, I thought Andy Akers had some moments. Mason had some moments as a young guy. The rest of the guys are feeling their way through a little bit and trying to sort things out a little bit. For the winners today, I think the top 9 with O'Neill and Christie were good. You saw the young guy Hallam show some promising moments. The goalie came up big with some. Especially late on some opportunities on the power plays. And for me, the kind of guy I didn't know a whole lot about was the center in the third line there, Dayak. He was all around the ice and scored some big points there, and especially there in the second when the game was in doubt.
Yeah, it was an interesting game in that the first period there were 2 St. Thomas goals on one shift. In the second period there were 2 St. Thomas goals on one shift. In the third period there were 2 Cloquet goals on one shift. So your son Landon had the third period goals for Cloquet. But the difference, if you look and say, hey, what was the difference in this one? It was that shift. Dayak with 1 goal, 1 assist in the late second period that let St. Thomas run their margin from 2-1 to 4-1. So Dayak certainly an outstanding one, and then that stretch pass to Christie. Mentioned in the pregame they were having trouble getting him into the offense yesterday, and it was O'Neill that found him on a diagonal rink. It must have been a 160-foot pass from one corner all the way out to the far blue line, and he put that one in. So great bounce back win for St. Thomas. So any final thoughts before we sign off?
Well, it looks to be an exciting year of hockey. You know, I think there's going to be some good teams, some good depth, and you know, when you're looking at the November, you know, lots gonna change as the year goes on. But I think all 4 teams, like you said, that have started here have some stuff to build on and move forward from.
And that's what was really anticipated. I talked to Tony that put the event together for Youth Hockey Hub. He said, you know, I've got teams, 3 of them are the favorites in their section. Minnetonka, defending state champions. Lakeville North, state tournament team last year with a lot of guys returning. St. Thomas, same thing. And then in Cloquet, a lot of people, everybody pretty much has them as a top 10 team in the state. They're in the group of death, section 7, so they may not be the favorite, but they're one of the teams that nobody would be surprised to see in the state tournament at the end of the year. So what a great way to start the season. We had 4 great teams, and we've got one more game coming up, but that was an outstanding hockey game. St. Thomas with the win, 5-3.
Yeah, it was a good hockey game, and you know, this next one should be also two talented teams, obviously defending state champion and a team that won a state championship not too long ago. What was that,
undefeated.
3 years ago? Yeah,
three
that was a pretty special team to watch there. So, you know, it's high school hockey's alive and well in Minnesota, and it's good to see.
Yeah, Justin was our producer, did a great job today. Well, Jamie, can't thank you enough for spending time with me announcing today's game. It was great to have you. Best of luck to the Boston Bruins the remainder of this season. Best of luck to the Langenbrunner boys on the Lumberjack varsity, and wishing nothing but good things ahead for Coach Shea Walters and the entire Cloquet Esco Carleton team in 2018-19.
Appreciate it, John. Thanks for having me along.
Signing off from Bloomington Ice Gardens for Jamie Langenbrunner, Justin, our producer, and John Connolly. Thanks for watching.